It was a funny moment, but y'all better watch that this week. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
let me take Rob off. I'm tripping. You coming back, Rob? But we live.
Dang,
We
just
are
go live. Kick Rob out as soon as we go live.
I
God,
forget. I forget. We live. We live. We live. It's your boy Swift coming to you from Houston, Texas. Tonight, my crowd brother recommended this one, and I pretty much like it. It's pretty good. Drinking on some Whistle Pig Rye, aged 10 years. It's pretty good. I like it. Got a nice taste to it. Nice finish.
This your boy T. I want to apologize ahead of time. I've been drinking since like 5, man. I'm on that Honey Jack. That's my favorite. Y'all already know. So I just want to apologize ahead of time and say what's up to everybody out there in the world. I'm coming from Atlanta by way of Lob, Mississippi. I'll holler at y'all in a minute.
This your boy CJB here, coming to y'all from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Edwards, Mississippi. And tonight I'm on this Don Julio again. Shout out to John Pridgeman.
Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Jay Ward. I'm coming to you from Shreveport, Louisiana. And I'm rocking the Spring '09 shirt. And if you don't know, Spring '09 is considered one of the legendary lines in alphabetic history. Because, we went harder than pretty much everybody. And it's usually that way with the odd numbers. So shout out to all the odd numbers. And shout out to all the tens, the greatest club in alphabetic history. The motherfucking tens, we out here. Excuse that language.
Anyway, yeah, fuck whatever Jay Ward talking about. Y'all gotta excuse me. You know what I'm saying? It's wash day. God damn it. I'm trying to get my shit together.
You washing your hair or your clothes?
My clothes I always wash. I'm talking my hair, bro. I take my dreads now. I twist now. Ah! Oh shit.
what up? This your boy Crowley, representing the Jack, Mississippi. On that do say tonight, definitely want to give a special happy birthday shout out to my son's mother, Christy Montgomery. Happy birthday to you out there.
All right, fellas. So we're gonna jump right into it. This is gonna be a continuation from the last week topic about mothers and their children. So the question came up when we were discussing last week about mamas and being mother's boys and all that, sons being mother's boys. Should a mother or should parents be friends with their children? That goes for the um, younger years and also going to the adult years. And I'm just gonna flat out just ask, well, should a parent be friends with the child that they're raising? How would that look? And do y'all agree or disagree? And why not? And why so? And I guess I'll start with Crowley. You just shout out your baby mama. Let us know. Yeah, Crowley, what you doing?
I'll just start how I was raised. My daddy always told me, son, I ain't here to be your friend. And he established that in the beginning, which, set boundaries, which set structure, which created a hierarchy, which I was the child, he was the adult. And you knew your role in the family, he led by, he truly led by example, as far as, being the leader of the family. So I'm looking up to him, there's that, what's that song, Family Reunion by the OJs. And, they say how the grandfather, look at the father and the son, and then there's the grandmother, and then the mother, and then the daughter like the mother. So with that being said, you have to establish that no friend zone. When I got older, my dad transitioned. I'll say when I kind of got out of college, he kind of transitioned to having a different conversation. He was like, son, I still can't be a friend, but we can definitely talk on a respectable man level for the work I've seen you put in. But we always still, there's always still that father-son role. And, sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, the man in me kind of, step out of bounds sometime, and I have to get real myself back in, because you find yourself as a man, but that is my dad. And definitely respect, because, it was never a friend zone between us at all. We have our certain moments, we joke about stuff, and it's a limit to it, but it ain't no ha ha he and about no deep stuff I talk to my homies about. Definitely not. So it ain't no being no friends with your kids out here in this world. Fuck all that. Hurt their feelings. They have no opinion. They know not a goddamn thing in this world. When I say nothing, you've been here longer than them, so they shouldn't have an opinion. Fuck all that. They feelings hurt. Let them accept those feelings. Tell them it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. All that shit. But at the end of the day, you're not there to be their friend, because the world gonna eat their ass up. You showing them love. The world don't have no love for them. That judge ain't gonna have no love for them. That dude on the corner, that female that he come across, even some of his homies he think is friends, his homegirls that he think is homegirls, ain't gonna have no love for him. So you gotta show them some tough love and some compassion before the world spin them on his head.
Absolutely. I see Egan is twist on. He gets some tough dreadlocks or something. I don't know. I'm gonna go to Jay Ward next.
Yeah.
I want to go to the bros that got children in the world. Jay Ward, what you think? You muted too.
So I agree with what Cole is saying to a certain extent, but I also think that in a way that toughness can almost be not harmful, but because it helps you in every way and it prepares you, just like Cole was saying. But sometimes you just want like that. Sometimes you just want your dad to pick you up and be like, and hold you or something, and then grab you and say, "It's all right, son, I got you." And that's why I'm gonna say two things. That's why that balance of having a two parent home or both parents involved is important. Not saying that you can't turn out well without that. I'm not saying that. Because for the most part, my mom raised me as a single mother. But I am saying that it gives both parents a chance to be the enforcer and the nurturer. Because when one parent is just the enforcer and the other parent is just the nurturer, then when the parent that's the enforcer is not around, then the child is going to run over that other parent. And so when you have both involved, then both people can kind of play both roles. Also, like Crowley was saying, when you become an adult, those roles kind of change, and I think you can establish a sense of fear in your child with fear as in respect. You can establish that respect without scaring them to death. Like, I just knew my dad wasn't to play with. I've always known that. Like, I've known that since I was a kid, and he only spanked me one time with his hand, and it was just 3 licks at church, and I ain't never been the same since. And so it's just like understanding that when you have that balance, and if it is just you raising your kids, then you have to have balance. You have to be that enforcer, and then you have to be that person that's also a nurturer. And I think a lot of times what happens is that's why a lot of men become guarded and not as open with our feelings, because our dads just always showed us tough love. But when you think about it, all of us are black men, and I'm assuming that all of our parents were born in either the 50s, 60s, or 70s. So the world was against our dads more so than it is for us. It's still against us, but our dads had it rough as hell.
I don't want to cut you off, Jay Ward, but you brought up a real good point. So you said that's one of the reasons why we're not as open with our feelings and our emotions, because of the way our parents raised us. So do you really feel that tough love that you do what I say in all those beatings prohibited us from showing our emotions as a young child, which carried on to our older age?
I think to a certain degree, but let's go to TV for a second. When you think about the dad from Everybody Hates Chris, the dad from Good Times, then you think about Carl Winslow, and then you think about Cliff Huxtable, and you think about Uncle Phil. all different parenting styles all led to success. So, it led to, it just depends. You have to adapt to your child because Corey might have been more of a hard head than I was. T might have been more of a hard head than I was. So with me, I'm the type of person, I kind of thrive off positive attention and positive feedback. So I'm going to do all I can to get the positive attention from my parents. Whereas my brother was more of the type of person, he was a rebel. So he kind of wanted attention in a negative way. He wanted that attention when he was doing something wrong or, doing something bad. So it just depends on the kid. And you as a parent have to be able to adjust. But I absolutely agree with the sentiment that I'm not here to be your friend, which means a parent ultimately is here to tell you the truth and to do what's best for you, which I think that's what a good friend would do is to tell you the truth. And I think some friends they're not honest with people. And I like my friends that are absolutely honest with me when they tell me the truth about things. Like if I write something and it sucks, I would rather you as my inner circle to tell me that it sucks as opposed to you saying, oh, it's great, it's great, it's great. And then you put it out there in the world and then it sucks. And then it's like, well, damn, why y'all ain't tell me? Well, we didn't want to hurt your feelings, but now my feelings are ultimately more hurt because you didn't tell me when I first was doing it. So I think, in the sense of being honest with your kids, is the truth, and you don't have to be their friend to be honest with them. You don't have to just crush their world and be like an enforcer on them, but you can, really put your foot down and let them know that look, it's a time for this, it's a time for everything. I'm not gonna play with you.
Let me go to the comments real quick. Then I'm gonna bring E in so I can bring in Rob too. Miss Foster, I feel the parent-child relationship evolve as the child and parent gets older. Liddell, as a child, there should be a friend relationship. Now as a grown woman, my mother is my. I guess she meant shouldn't be. Still have boundaries though. Sanford, I consider my mom to be my friend. I call her often and just get advice and input from her. Full-time Uncle Sal. Prison, gotta show them that tough love for their protection before they get the tough without the love.
And Swift, let me come in on that too. Like, and Jay Ward brought it up as far as, picking your son up. Like, so my dad had a tough parenting style growing up. So me and my brother, we discussed how we were gonna raise our kids. So don't get me wrong, we keep that toughness, but at the same time we're interjecting a little bit more nurturing and love in there than what my dad showed us. So you learn, like I think you said a comment said somebody said they call their mom and refer back, and that's okay. That's how we're supposed to do it. Community's supposed to help us raise, and we're supposed to learn from our parents and not do the same thing to what we thought hinder us, and just continue to successfully raise the next generation. But yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get a couple more comments. I'm gonna go to E. Miss Early, tough love is absolutely necessary. Let them know that they have messed up or they are doing dumb stuff. Also, you need to allow them to learn how to express themselves. I think there are too many adults that don't know how to express themselves because of the relationship they had with their parents, kind of what Jay Ward touched on. E, what you think?
So Pete, I think of it like this. I think it's situational almost. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It's kind of like, let me touch on what Jay was saying. Like I'm the rebel, right? But like I don't like attention. So you know what I'm saying? You have to like know your child, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I'm responsible for my nieces, I have one that's a firecracker and I have one that's like a introvert. You know what I'm saying? So like they like being talked to in different types of ways. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the parental aspect, like I can't really speak to it, you know what I'm saying? Because like, you know what I'm saying, my mama a gangster, like, you know what I'm saying? I can talk to her like, shit, what up, nigga? And she gonna be like, oh shit, what up, Jew? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just how we talk, you know what I'm saying? And I can't, it's not like a disrespectful thing. It's just like, we have a common ground, but like I don't like disrespect her to be like, hey, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But like, say for instance, do I still talk like how I talk to y'all? Sometimes. Just depends on what the subject is, you know what I'm saying? And then it just be like shit. It is what it is, like that, but like that's my nigga though, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like shit. Sometimes like you gonna develop the bond of just being cool with it if you have a parent that's like, more so involved with your life. You know what I'm saying? And like the more involved with your life in certain aspects, the more general conversations y'all gonna have.
Yep. I can.
And the more you gonna start to say like, okay, they actually kind of cool, even though you might have raised me like this. You know what I'm saying? Now you can look at that person as like more so like, you know, you go to the barbershop, there's always an old head nigga in there. You know what I'm saying? You respect him, but like he still kind of talk like how you be talking like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's kind of like similar to that. And so like I think it depends. I think it's very situational because and then like every parent doesn't like do the whole, you know, oh yeah, you gotta do what I say, do what I do, yada 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 yada. Because like it's other parents that they don't even raise their voice to their kids, but their kids still obedient. You know what I'm saying? I think it's about like how you communicate to them. That's gonna lead to the bond of like, you know, how close y'all are when it comes to regular topics and shit like that.
I can feel that because the things I say to my mother now and the things that we do together, I could not do when I was 14, 15 years old. She'll beat my ASS. I'm not gonna cuss because my grandma watching. What you think, CJB?
I think that you shouldn't be your child's friend up until they're like 18 years of age. I think that's the threshold where you transition a relationship to no longer being a disciplinarian, but trying to talk to your child as an adult. But I think 17 and under, you really have to show your child like tough love. You have to nurture them as well. Like I feel like a lot of us wasn't nurtured by, you know, our fathers. And I understand their reasoning for it. Like the world is a tough place on the black man. So we was always taught not to show weakness. So that's pretty much like I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but I do feel like you shouldn't really be your child's friend until they become an adult because the relationship changes. But when they're kids, hell no, you shouldn't be their friend. Because if you're their friend, eventually they're going to be more liable to try you because they feel like there's not going to be any discipline.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go T. And I'm gonna let Rob close it out because we know he got 18 kids, so he should definitely have a lot of something to
That
say.
boy got to start an offense over there.
T, what you think?
I just think that like parents these days, it's like you try to go against the grain, and it's like, okay, you don't want to raise your kid how you would raise, so you try new things, and that's how you have these badass kids, bro. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to be friends with your kid. Like I never cussed around my mama for real until I was older, and then
I
even when I
still
was
don't.
even when I was old, it would be like it would have to be where I was just super angry and it was just quick. Like try to throw it under the rug real quick and not get caught. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how like my old lady, she a teacher, so I see these parents cause hell because they don't like kids in school. They're not scared or they're not worried about what their parents think or gonna say
Do not.
because everybody is a friend. You want to be friends with your kid, and that do not work, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like I know we are educated now, and we learning new things and new methods and all of that stuff. But some things we do need to stick. Like we need to keep around. We need to stick with. Like, hey, okay, look, I ain't your friend. You can come to me with whatever you want to talk about. If you have any problems and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm not your friend. You're not finna be smoking no weed around me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you can listen to your little rap music or whatever on your own, but I ain't your friend. Now we can vibe, we can, you need advice, stuff like that. I'm your parent first. Then I'm your friend. You know what I'm saying? And friend is loose. But when you're mature, now we can start, you know what I'm saying, like going to the casino, stuff like that. Like I ain't saying go to the club with your mama, nothing like that, no stuff like that. But when you're older, you'll have more mature conversation with your parent. Then you can understand your parent too. And then at the end of the day, you will see that you're a lot like your parent. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your parent trying to figure it out at the same time too. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not perfect, and kid is not perfect. So you really just should stay hard on your kids. Quit trying to be their friends, man.
Let me go to the comments real quick before you go, Rob. Ms. Foster, Ahika, come on, Jay. Learn them children and the various personalities. One parenting style doesn't fit all children. Fifi, parenting equals get their child to embrace the gifts within them to be successful in life and not another problem in the streets. And that's real because I just saw a video about grambling, but I'm not going to go into detail about it. But these kids need guidance and they need help. It's all about Kimberly. It's all about balance. There's nothing wrong with being a friend to your child. Sometimes you have to show them what a friend should be. I mean, be a parent first, but it's okay to get on their level just to understand their world. We'll go to the whole thing. Sanford built like a Waffle House cook. One more. Queen. Definitely won't curse in front of my parents, grandparents, or great grandparents. They don't roll like that. And I'm pretty sure if y'all see me every episode, I try to watch my curse because I know my grandma watching. I do not curse in front of my parents or my grandparents. My mother would beat my tail. Oh my! I still remember them whoopings. And I remember my dad told me one day I didn't want to eat some vegetables. And he was in the Marines. He said, if you don't eat these vegetables, I'm gonna kill you and chop your body parts up and bury you in the backyard. Like they did not play with me. Where I am now today. So I guess
but still, I lived on the dangerous side.
Listen.
Like my dad would tell you, like I rarely got whoopings and stuff like that. Because when I did get whoopings, I didn't holler and scream. Like tears would roll down my eyes. Yeah, I feel it, but all that screaming and running stuff, so that didn't work for me. You had to come with a different method for me.
When my pops told me that, I listened to everything he said from then on because I was like, this man crazy as hell. He said, "Gonna fuck my body up." I ain't going. I ain't
Listen. You know I roll with nothing but all the street niggas. We go to my grandma's house, bro. Everybody pants pulled up, shirt clean, and no cussing, bro. Real talk.
No.
Oh yeah. You know, some grandmas and granddads demand their respect, and everybody gonna catch it behind it.
All right.
Hold on. So Alicia said, "Dang, you about to die with some veggies," and Early said that is abusive. So I will say this: my dad never put his hands on me. Never. It's just a
But that's still trauma, Swift. Shit. You telling somebody?
Listen. That was a different climate. You can't compare the early 1990s to 2020.
I know. I'm just messing with Swift.
Let me finish. Like,
trust me.
Had those conversations with me, like I'm your father. Like I'm not here to play with you. Like you gonna do what I tell you to do because I'm doing. It wasn't.
I know we talk about trauma and how it impacts kids, but I would argue that these kids are soft because they didn't go through the same things that we went through as kids. These kids are soft, they're entitled, and they feel like the world owes them something. And that comes from a lack of discipline. These kids are not getting disciplined like that. God damn it. If I brought home a bad grade, which I didn't, I wasn't playing no fucking Sega Genesis. I was getting ass whooped.
Yeah.
These kids go to their room, still playing PS4, still got their phones. It's no discipline. I'm not saying you gotta stomp your kid out, but you gotta show authority. These kids don't have that. So if you don't respect authority in your household, you're not going to respect that shit when you get in the workforce. When you get into the classroom, it's trade-offs to that shit. So all that, this trauma, and I agree that some parents do take it to the next level. There's no arguing that at all. But I feel like some of these kids need some type of discipline, and they need that set when they're a child. It's too late when they're a teenager. You can't discipline a child, a teenager.
So I work with teenagers before adolescents. So I would see it like this. I would call it binge beating, like binge drinking. So kid would have bad grades, but they'll still go by the true religion is the Jordans, and then they'll end up in front of the judge and something go wrong, and then they'll binge beat the HE double hockey sticks out of them. You know what I'm saying? After they went before the judge, and then while they in my program, in the midst of the I'll say week 3, they coming in with a whole new pair of Jordans, with a whole new outfit on, and I'm like, what's going on? And they like, yeah, mama got paid, so we went shopping. I'm like, hold on, your grades ain't
Crow.
your behavior still the same, but then all of a sudden, a whole nother week later, he cussed mama out. Mama binge beating them again. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a whirlwind of.
Listen, Jabos was the thing back when we were coming up, right? I didn't get my
strap
first
around your leg
Jabos
Jabos
to my freshman year of college, and I bought them with my own.
I'm just telling you, Corey.
These kids got true religion, and they're in fucking middle school,
Yes.
and high school.
Yes.
Them is $180 pair of jeans
and horrible grades. G, like I'm gonna be honest. It's some mamas and daddies on here. You know, I love y'all fans to death. But y'all know y'all kids ain't doing what they supposed to be, but y'all breaking $100+ off on outfits and all this stuff.
Drip.
Y'all, and let's be real. Y'all taking them on trips with y'all. Y'all doing all this. Hey, stop rewarding them for the BS. My little son at the age of 6, no, daddy'll snatch your whole world away, homie. All me and your mama's supposed to do is just feed you and clothe you with the basics, homie. The basics.
I think you're supposed to reward your child, especially when they're doing good in school.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean buying them designer shit. I used to work with a chick in my part-time job. She had 2 boys, like they were like in elementary school. These little niggas were wearing True Religions in elementary school. You don't even know you ain't supposed to know what the fuck True Religion is. Like all we knew was Faded Glory, LA Gears, the fucking dinosaur shirt with the plastic in. That's all we had.
I had some sprinkles, some names.
You gotta go to Rob. But you see the Instagram page is dedicated to these kids, and they drip 2-3 years old in Gucci, Louis Vuitton. They the designer out like what?
Hey, hold on, Rick. Before we go to Rob, listen. Dr. Phil this week had a woman and her son on the show. She gave her son the master bedroom. He gets $1,000 a month. I mean a week or a month allowance. And she was on Dr. Phil, and he was still mad and entitled, bro. Something got to be stopped. Hey, they got to be stopped, babe.
But it's like when you start that shit at that age, you got to keep it up. And it's like it's only so many levels to go once you get older. You know what I'm saying? Like designer shit ain't cheap. Like that shit is high.
Hold on.
And it's like not the cut you. Go ahead, my bad.
Let me go bring Deanna Hackett. Kids be fresh and can barely read or do simple math. Absolutely. So, Rob, introduce yourself, where you coming from, what you're drinking on, and because you come with that reason. So let's.
It's your boy Rob coming to you from Tampa by way of Bolton, Mississippi. I'm drinking on some Corona tonight. So this topic to me is just it's hilarious for one, and for two, I'm living this every day. So we got 2 separate age groups of kids. We got 3 teenagers and we got 2 kids under 10. So we got twin 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 6-year-old, 4-year-olds. So 2 different parenting styles, and you have to treat them all differently. So to answer the question, short answer, no, you should not be friends with your kids. So my teenage boys, I'm starting to transition with them of where I'm going from less hollering and fussing and more teaching, leading, guiding, and trying to prepare them for the world that they're about to jump into as 3 black men. That's what I'm doing right now with them, because they're in high school. They're going to be hitting the peer pressure. They're going to be hitting the girls. They're going to be hitting preparing them for college, all this stuff.
Hold on. Let's not say they're going to be hitting the girls. Let's rephrase that one.
It's coming. So the voices are changing. The body smell is starting to change. They're going through puberty. There's all the stuff you got to deal with teenage boys or girls. It's just something that's going to happen. They're going to start liking girls, boys, whatever. They're going to, that time is coming.
Yeah, hide the lotion.
You gotta start prepping your mind, your body, and your soul for this to come because it's coming. It's already starting with them. So instead of running from it, like most parents have done when we were growing up, I didn't have the sex talk. I was told don't bring no babies into the house. Nobody told me how this stuff can mess your whole world up if you do it wrong. Nobody told me that. And so I'm preparing them for this whole world they got to go into. Then I got my 6-year-old, 4-year-old. I have to train them. I am dad. They have to have a respectful fear of me. They shouldn't be scared and running around the house or running to hide when I come home. But when I speak, they need to move. When I speak, they have to understand that this is me or their mom talking, and they have to do what we're telling them to do. Because at that age, it could be a matter of life and death if they don't act when we talk. It can be. And so my mom was a teacher, so I don't want our kids to be the problem children in the class because I'll come sit in the class with them. My mom's taught for 33 years, and so I know the kids that she taught. And so I don't want my kids to be the problem. That's the purpose. And so I never cursed or drank around my mom, ever. Not once. And everyone that knows me know that I cuss, know that I drink a lot. I never did it around my mom because my mom had a respectful fear that she put into me and my grandma. I seen my grandma at 64 years old snatch up one of my cousins off the ground, and she wasn't a big woman. So it's this fear you have. It's the respectful fear, not fear, respectful fear that kids have to have when they're smaller, where they understand what you're saying and they move when you say move and they listen when you say listen. So when they get older, you transition from the parenting to the leading, guiding, and then when they're mature enough, then you can start having that type of relationship. But some kids, they never get there. It just all depends on the child.
So
Some
do you?
kids,
But we have a lot of young mothers in these new generations. Do you think that's a byproduct? The kids acting out is a byproduct of the age of the or the generation
so
of parents?
So specifically for black kids, we're going to talk about the black tax, but there's an opposite end of the black tax, which is our generation making more money. And so we want to give our kids the stuff we didn't have.
Mm.
In doing that, we're leaving a lot of the lessons behind that we were taught that made us who we are.
Mm.
And so the suffering made us who we are, which we don't want to put on our kids. But like my kids, they're growing up in nice neighborhoods, huge houses, nice vehicles, new clothes. I'm not spending $100 on jeans. They're gonna get JoJo Siwa shoes for my daughter, and the kids they're gonna be dressed nice. But I'm not spending all that money on them. But because we make a lot more than our parents did, we want to give them the life that we didn't have because we're overcompensating for what we didn't have when we were growing up. And so because of that, we're trying to give them a better life, and we're leaving them behind a lot of the lessons that we learned growing up in the struggle. Because each one of us here grew up in some type of environment that we didn't want our kids growing up into, which is what drove us to work as hard as we did to get the jobs that we have, to make what we make, to give our family, our girls, our kids a better life than what we grew up in. In doing that, we're leaving behind all the lessons that we learned that drove us to get what we have now. And so we'll get into that in the black hat, but that's one of the reasons why.
We may need to collaborate and write a paper on that. That's a deep thought. So
can I say something?
I'm gonna come to you, Jay Ward. So the opposite end of the black text. We struggled. We wealthy now, and even though we may have to take care of our parents and everything else, we want to provide our children with everything we didn't have. And by doing that, they miss out on those lessons that we learned from our parents through the struggle. That's a guy, dog. Go ahead, Jay Ward.
I just want to. I agree with what Rob just said too, and especially about the part where you're in a better financial situation than your parents were, and you want to just give them everything that you didn't have. But I also want to hit on what T was saying about perfection.
Fifi, funny.
No kid is perfect, and your parents aren't perfect. Nobody gave them a playbook and said, this is how you raise a child. And the moment I realized that my mom wasn't perfect, it was like an eye opener for me because in my mind she was the perfect person, and then when I saw a shortcoming from her, it made me feel like not my mama, how my mama this way. But then I had to realize that my mom was pretty young when she had me, and I'm the youngest, so um, I had to realize that, and then also just realize that when you have with your parents and your kids, um, one thing that's going to really stand out is your ability to be able to communicate with them. And like Rob was talking about with your kids becoming sexually active. Those of us that grew up in the South, I'm from Louisiana / Mississippi. Shout out to Lake Providence, shout out to Vicksburg. Um, and one of the things that was told is abstinence. That was it in the church, as opposed to learning healthy sex education. And so now you're just trying to find out stuff on your own. Whereas if you could have just talked to your parents about that, then it would have made life a little bit easier for you because you could have just talked to your parents about that instead of being shunned. Like, when my son comes of age and, he wants to start masturbating, is this going to be a conversation that we're going to have? It's the same thing with my daughter. I told her, like, hey, if you want to talk to somebody, let me know. As of right now, she's 14. She's not really into that. Thank goodness, because I get sixth graders sometimes that already have boyfriends and full makeup. So, she's an athlete, so she's not really into that yet. But when the time comes, I want her to feel comfortable that, you can talk to us about this and just make sure that person cares about you and it's not just a trophy that they're trying to get. And that's all I would say. I want to tell her, look, little boys are stupid. They just trying to bust nuts, but I don't want to tell her that. I try to be more supportive if I can, and that's what my brother has done with his 3 daughters. So that's all I got on that.
Absolutely. So before we move on to the black tech, this gonna probably gonna be a long topic too. Any final thoughts?
I think we touched.
Nope.
All right. Cool. So moving on, because we talked about the opposite end real quick of the black tax, about how we try to provide.
You gotta hit the comments, bro.
Okay,
you just about to go right into it, bro.
Hold on, let me scroll up a little bit. I definitely want to get Fifi coming in, but I'm gonna scroll up a little bit past it. Sanford, my mom bought my first pack of condoms. Was mad at me when I got caught. She thought I was just gonna fill them with some more. Me. I worked in Head Start, and people at 5 know what sex is because of what parents introduced them to. That's true. Like with these kids are on the phones all day, every day, on YouTube, on Twitter.
Man.
See it. Like you gotta have this conversation early. But at 5 years old, like that's a whew.
Half of them, like I said, I was in the school system doing prevention, and half of them see it in the house. To be honest, we was doing mindfulness in the morning with the kids, and half of the things that they were mindful that took place in their house when they got home, all the way coming back to school, it was amazing to hear the stories that happened from 2:15, 2:30 p.m. all the way up until then, returning back into their school from 7 a.m. to 7:30. From daddy coming to the house smoking wet cigarettes, from mama fighting with 2 of her boyfriends and baby daddy showing up, to the kids being at home taking care of all the kids themselves while mama working all the jobs. Either mama and daddy both working and they taking care of the kids. It was so many things. Either they're in an apartment complex, somebody got shot, somebody got the fighting in the neighborhood, and they seeing it. So it was so much going on that even if the parents are sheltering them, we forgot kids got to walk home too. And they getting a dose of the world even before, you can shelter them out. But if you in a neighborhood where they got to walk past some stuff, then, and they're not coming home and saying, Mom, I saw Mr. Willie and Mr. Johnson have a fist fight, and Mr. Willie shot Mr. Johnson, and we walking home. But they don't tell you that because you still at work. All you know is that you saw the police cars down there. And they ain't even tell you that they seen the scene. So that's stuff that we gotta also remember too. We gotta learn to not on that. We gotta learn to get our kids to open up on that level of being honest with us on that level too. Not on a friendship level, but learning some things.
Fifi, I'm definitely getting this coming in. Only one of our sons tried to test their growth, and I picked him up and slammed his ASS on the wall. Bro, don't get killed, now make it look accidental. Then let him know when his dad got home, he's going to F him up. Bottom line, he knew better, and we aren't raising friends. And I think another topic we may need to discuss is the impact or the influence of rap music on this new generation, because it's really influencing our children to do some things I have never seen.
Boy,
Can we archive that and make sure we get to that question?
boy, you sound
Because I have a lot to say about
you
that.
sound like C. Dolores Tucker when she was hating
I
on
was
Snoop
just gonna
Dogg
say that.
and Tupac.
No,
She tried.
no.
See the Lord's. You know what See the Lord's Tucker is, man.
Hold on, I don't.
That's
But
a
we're talking
different topic, and I agree with you.
All right.
Look her up.
Keep,
Look
keep
her
it
up.
moving, man. See Dolores Tucker.
See
Keep it moving,
Dolores
though.
Tucker. Look her up.
older. As kids get older, damn it, they think they're on their parents' level, and with all their boys towering me, I have to tell them don't let the bass in your voice get you brought down to my. Oh, this Fifi again. Brought down to my level. Roxanne, my mom say my son is afraid of me, but he talks to me about any and everything. He just told me the other day he had a crush on a girl. I would say yes. He moved when I say move, but he know mom is here, and I think that's what it's all about.
You're doing a good job, Mom.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think so.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
That's it, man. Keep it moving.
Will sound like a boomer. Man, did y'all see that? We're gonna talk about it in the group chat. I'm gonna bring this back up.
See Dolores Tucker. Look her up.
I don't even know who that is, but we're gonna move on. Because moving on, the black tax. I did a little bit of reading and research before I started. Before we brought this back up about the black tax, and I found out that it originated out of South Africa. So black people, when we receive such benefits and monetary gains, we had to start taking care of the people in our family because they didn't reach the level that we are currently today. And I saw something else that was interesting, bringing back my political science degree, about how we have structures in place that hinder African Americans from becoming as successful as other groups of people, whether it be educational inequalities, voting inequalities, so on and so forth, and how it impacted us back in the day and how it impacts us now. So we can't reach that level of economic quality that others have reached, and it impacts how we live there. That's just from a brief understanding of my understanding of black tax. But I want to get how y'all understand black tax, how it impacts us today, and how we as a people can move forward. Because we do sometimes take care of our extended family, like a cousin or a mama or a grandma may need a bill paid, or they don't have the education like my grandma. My family, I'm the first person in my family that I can remember graduated from college, master's degree, and now I'm working on my doctorate, about to graduate with my doctorate degree. I don't see anyone else in my family that I can remember that has reached that level other than my auntie, and we did that simultaneously. So I'm gonna start with what ego. I want to start with Rob, so I can bring E back in. I know he probably want to talk on this topic. So, Rob, what is your understanding of the black tax and how it impacts us today?
All right, so black tax is something that I've been kind of I'm pretty sure we all been dealing with our whole life, but it's basically things you have to go through that other races don't have to go through in order to just make it. And then once you make it, it's something that you still have to pay. So we talked about this a lot. A lot of us grew up in, rundown houses, or grew up in a crime-infested area, or grew up where our parents or our guardians didn't have a lot of money. And so that caused us to have to lean on our education because there's usually a front runner. It's probably all of us in this chat. The front runner is the person that goes out front, does what they're supposed to do, get the schoolwork done, get those good grades, get that scholarship, get that degree so they can get out into the workforce, start making that money so they can send money back to their and so for me personally, that's something that was on my plate when I was as early as I can remember, 10, 11 years old. I knew I was very intelligent. People were telling me that, so I knew it was on me to make sure my grades were intact, make sure I didn't get arrested, make sure I didn't get in trouble, make sure I did what I was supposed to do, make sure I got my scholarship because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school, make sure when I got my scholarship, I didn't lose my scholarship, I got my degree, I got my job, and then once I got my job, boom, I got my first check, And then once you get your first check and you start making some money, then you look back to your family and you say, hey, my family's in this specific situation. Maybe I can help with a big bill, or maybe I can throw my mom some funds, or maybe I can throw my sister some funds. Like right now, because my mom's passed away, it's on myself and my sister to make sure my niece is good. Not, I mean, good. Make sure she's doing her schoolwork, make sure she's got school clothes, make sure she got school supplies, make sure she's got whatever instrument she want to play, make sure, you know, she's respectful, make all this stuff. I'm doing this from Florida. My niece is in Mississippi. And so we all have a responsibility for our immediate family. If we make it, we have to make sure that our family that we left behind is good, because we feel that that environment enabled us to get what we have. And so we have to reach back. Now, for my coworkers, I'm in the military. I work with majority white people. They have no clue what I'm talking about when I talk about this type of stuff. Once they leave their family, they're still being taken care of by their family. One guy moved into a house that his parents had bought, and so he didn't have to buy any furniture. He was down on his luck. His family let him move into their house that was already furnished, so he was selling his furniture for pennies on a dime. And so they already have this like 50, 60 steps in front of us until they get whatever age. And then when their parents pass, they leave them, you know, a trust fund, or they leave them some land and some houses and some money. So they have no clue the pressure that it takes for me, Rob, father five, married, who also has to make sure that his family in Mississippi is good, his family land is good, his house is good. They have no clue. And I have to make sure I'm doing good on my job so I get a good evaluation so I can get promoted, all while dealing with the pressures of the world as a black man, you know, possibly getting pulled over, possibly going to jail. I got to keep my security clearance. So this weight that we have on us as black people, and then as a black man who's trying to lead his family, it can weigh you down so much, and people have no clue that you're even going through it because we do it so well. We sit here, and it's so much, man.
And to talk on one of your points, you said that your coworker had a house already established, already furnished.
Yeah.
Us, our mamas and daddies kicking us out soon. We hit 17, 18 and say, hey, you get it how you can. I did what you're supposed to do. Now you on your own.
Yeah, it's so much, man.
That's part of it. Like, you know, like most like the people in other races, they stay with their parents, but they don't pay bills. So it's like they're working their full-time job and they're able to save up 20%, you know, to put down on the house, so they don't have to pay for, you know, the private mortgage insurance. They can like stack and pay out some debt. You know, it's just a lot of stuff you can do when you're staying at your folks' house while working full time. You're generating a decent salary. Like us, on the other hand, what I consider black tax is basically a wealth builder's tax that's strictly for black people. Like most of us, it doesn't apply to everybody, but most of us pretty much are the first ones to graduate college, right? So when we graduated college, we position ourselves to make way more money than our parents made. So it's like, you know, our parents made things happen with what they had. So, you know, the salaries hasn't increased, but you know, the fixed fees have. Like pretty much the cost of certain things hasn't matched what that they're paying in minimum wage, for example. So not only do we have to take care of ourselves and our own household, the money that we have, like our discretionary income that we have that we can use to invest or start a small business or save and generate interest, we have to get that back to our families in such cases. And it's like really, I'm not gonna say we don't have a choice, but it's like you really want to help your parents out. So the extra $200 you have after you paid all your bills and have your money to live, you can't put that in your savings account and build it up so you can, like, you know, acquire wealth and invest, because you're basically paying that black tax, which is helping out your immediate family members. Like for example, if like say for example, if like, you know, we lose a grandparent or something, right? if that grandparent doesn't have proper burial insurance or proper life insurance, in order to bury that parent, the person who brings in the most income is usually gonna have to kick in the most money.
Yeah.
So it's just certain things that our parents didn't do. Like, and I'm not gonna say that they didn't know about it. Well, they didn't know about it. Like, having proper life insurance, you know what I'm saying? Being in a position to pass your stuff to your kids. So when you look at white families, like, they pretty much stay with their parents till they're like 24, 25, each and they got their own house, like straight out of college. So they already have a head start, but they even have a further head start than we did.
Right.
So it's like it's a lot to overcome. Like the best way for us in our generation to get out of it, sometimes you have to tell your parents no. Like you can't tell your parents how much money you make, and that's like cardinal rule number one. Because if you tell your parents how much money you're making, they're going to try to figure some way to slide up in your money. And it doesn't apply to everybody. Like some people like are second and third generation college graduates, but for the bulk of us, we're pretty much like this is the first time college graduates. So by us having, this education, this experience, we're in positions to have way more earning power than our parents. So it's kind of difficult to like generate wealth and build wealth. We're already behind the gun, but we're also separate. We're taking care of two households. So it's just one of the obstacles like that Black people in particular have to overcome. But the best thing that you can do to help overcome it is to look out for yourself and don't be afraid to say no.
Absolutely. Mr. Reed, do you all think it's different with Black men versus Black women growing up? As the only girl of my siblings, I had a very different foundation created for me. Explain a little bit more what you mean by that. I'm gonna bring that question back up. Ms. Franklin, I had a coworker who stayed with his parents and didn't pay one bill. When he got ready to move out, he had enough money to put down on his house to where he only had to get a 5-year mortgage. Ms. Franklin, if you don't mind, tell me what was the ethnicity of that coworker. That's what I really want to know.
You know what ethnicity he was.
I'm not gonna guess. I'm like, I wanna know. This Rob, you want to help your parent because you get older and realize that they raised you on little to nothing. You feel you have a duty to take care of them if you're about anything. That's
Of
true.
course, he was white.
On my 18th birthday, my dad placed a plate, a spoon, a fork, and knife on my pillow and told me, "Now it's time for you to fix your own plate." God, at the time I didn't understand it, but I saw the message later on. That's kind of ooh.
I bet you did. I bet you did see that message.
What was the comment again?
I bet you saw that. That was the writings on the wall, goddamn it.
On my 18th birthday, my dad placed a plate, a spoon, a fork, and a knife on my pillow and told me, "Now it's time to fix your own plate." At the time, I didn't understand it, but I saw the message later on. That's
not doing your kid like, and it's a lot of our parents that have this logic, and I hope that when we get older and our kids come to age, that we don't do our kids the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't put it's like in this, you setting your kid up to struggle, and you're setting them up for failure, putting them at the house at 18 and 21. Like, you don't really know what the fuck you want to do at that age anyway. And you have a lot of stuff to overcome. Like, they're just the obstacle that we put on Black people. And it's not everybody, but most. Like, fortunately for me, I didn't get put out the house, but I did have to pay a bill when I was 18 and 21.
Hold on, Corey. Stokes, come on now. If we can't talk to our parents about salary, who teaches us about investments and retirement?
We teach ourselves about investments and retirement.
Let me finish. How do we learn if we can't leverage our families due to fear of getting finessed? Come on now, Stokes. You know our parents. We in the South. Arkansas. Our parents don't know nothing about no investments and well, except my dad. My dad does. But come on. No.
Stokes, I would argue if our parents knew about that, we wouldn't be having this black tax discussion. Because
Right.
just imagine if our parents would have invested in IBMs and Microsofts and Apple back when they were cheap, like the stocks were cheap and stuff.
Facebook.
We could have bought Facebook ourselves with
we didn't
refund
know that.
checks. So I can't even but I can't really point them on Facebook.
No, like when
Sure, I'll bring it home. One of the things that if you work for Walmart, they give you stock.
You got to buy that stock.
I know, but
they don't give you
stock. Won't buy it. They won't buy it.
It's like, but it's like you're asking somebody from Walmart that makes $7 an hour to buy stock. It's I did when I was there, but when I quit, I sold that shit. I needed that money.
I'm gonna ask y'all a question. When did you understand what buying a stock really meant? Like,
we getting off topic.
Okay,
in college.
You're right. Go ahead.
Let me hit this black song.
Go ahead. E.
Okay, so a few things we need to kind of like level set on, right? So first, the whole giving back phase or whatnot for when you make it, that's like an African tradition. You know what I'm saying? That's like you paying respect back to your parents for their sacrifices, as far as like, you know what I'm saying, allowing you to get to this place in your life. So that's basically like, you know what I'm saying, like how some cultures have like a bride price or whatever. Like if you want to marry somebody's daughter, you have to pay an amount. You have to pay some money, but it's supposed to be something that you can like never fully pay. And you're supposed to say, like, you know what I'm saying, like the daughter is priceless or whatever. It's supposed to pay their work or whatever. It's like a respect thing, right? So in their culture, like they don't put their family members in nursing homes and no shit like that. They take care of them from like birth until death. Whereas over here, we quick to put our old folks in the nursing home with the quickness, you know what I'm saying? And as well as they got, you know what I'm saying, everybody say that, like, you know, they worry about paying their folks back, but now grandma really raising your kids, you know what I'm saying, the whole time. Y'all ain't helping grandma pay no bills, but y'all eating up all her food that she get from her, that she pay for out her Social Security. Y'all ain't trying to kick that. Y'all ain't trying to kick them funds back. You know what I'm saying? And keep like, if you're gonna complain about it, you gotta keep this same energy, bro. You gotta keep this same energy. And to truth be told, a lot of people don't. A lot of people try to act like their grandma's house is really their house. When they don't pay no bills, they got 6-7 kids running around that motherfucker. But like shit, they don't even want they bitching about sharing food stamps. You know what I'm saying? But like, who paying the bills? Who paying the rent? Who paying the taxes on the house? You know what I'm saying? Who got the death insurance? Who got like all that set up? Nobody but grandmama or big mama. You know what I'm saying? So now, fast forward to modern shit. Does the black tax exist? 100%, it does. But for me, you know what I'm saying? Like I think Corey Brown had mentioned this. He was talking about, like, you know, how some people are like second, third generation degree people. I would be one of them. I don't have the majority of my family went to college. You know what I'm saying? But degrees don't mean shit. I don't give a fuck who you is. Degrees don't mean shit. It just means you can be trained in a specific area. That's it. You can have all the degrees in the world and still be financially irresponsible. That's the key. You have to. I'm the first one that more so learned how to handle money better than everybody else. And that's how the cycle of generational wealth really starts. Somebody has to understand money and how it works and make it work for them. Because a job is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki said. It means just over broke. You're going to make enough to do what you got to do. Nothing else. You don't learn how to, they tell you to save it. You save money, but your money just sitting there. It ain't making you no money. So you're not really increasing your net worth overall. Therefore, you still doing the same shit. When you want to go out somewhere, of course, yeah, you got some money over here, but you won't have nothing to recoup that. You got to wait to save again, just to do something for Christmas gift, for Christmas presents, birthdays, family vacations. If y'all do that, I wasn't one of them types to do that. So I think like that black taxes, it starts with somebody has to understand finance, and then they get everybody else on a plan to where it's like, hey, if you do this, then we can move this way. If I do this, I can move this way. But at the same time, people, the average black family they not trying to hear that shit. They too worried about keeping up with the Joneses, trying to compete with their neighbor or somebody else downstairs. That's why they buying their kids these True Religion jeans and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And they in the second grade. That'd be the cause.
Let me go to the comments. Then I'm gonna go to my boy Denver. I gotta go to Denver because we definitely need to hear his opinion on this. Hold on, real quick, Denver. So,
easy.
if we are reparations for our parents, can we truly ever really advance our own families? How can we create general wealth and still provide our parents with kickbacks? I think that's really what we get into because I'm gonna let Denver get to it, but I'm not gonna go too much into the comment.
Hold up. Let me hear the topic again.
So this is the black tax, pretty much what we've been talking about in the group chat. So how do you feel about the black tax? Do you think it exists? And how can we move past it if that's even possible? And where you coming from? To introduce yourself, where you coming from? If you're drinking on something, what you're drinking on? Let me hear your topic on. Let me hear your opinion on the topic.
The black tax. Well, this is Denroll, guys. It's 2:30. Drinking on water. Someone will have to educate me a bit on this one because I'm a bit lost.
Black tax is like when somebody else kind of like, I guess you kind of say, makes it, that they give back and still like, they take care of their parents or their siblings,
family
burdens and as far as a sense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's basically there, like saying how one person that makes it can't even enjoy their own accomplishments,
the fruits of their labor,
responsibility to somebody else.
So it's more so a spectrum. So on one side, we have to where E is talking about. We have certain people in the family that make it. We have generations of black people who don't have nothing but a 5th grade or 6th grade education, or we're the first people to graduate with a college degree or a master's degree, and we actually achieve economic stability, and we have to provide for our family, which further hinders us from moving up the economic ladder. On the other side, we have structures in place that hinder us from moving up the economic ladder, as far as if you put you're a black or African American on a job application, you may not get accepted, or you don't move up the economic ladder because you're a black female and you don't get paid as much as the white man. There's certain things that hinder us from moving up the economic ladder and having economic stability. So that's kind of what we get into. So in your experience, have you seen it and have you experienced it? Have you, and what do you think about it and how can we move past it? You're thinking hard, so I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna come back to you.
Do that.
Who next?
Jay Ward, mute. I'm on mute.
Okay.
With the black tax, I'm new to the term, but not new to the issue. I'm new to the terminology of it. I just thought it was just, our struggle. Let me say this. It is a black thing. I think it's a class thing as well, but it's more of a black thing than a class thing because a lot of times, a lot of black people are in a poor class because of systematic racism. So I do think that it's a class thing, but a couple of things that stands out to me. Somebody mentioned that a lot of times they live with their parents until they're 25, 26. I've seen some black people do this, but more so other cultures do this. Them and their wives will live with an in-law or with a parent and save up and put $150,000 down on a house. It's like, what? So they just live with the parent and stack all their money, and then they're able to almost buy a house cash or go ahead on and get a forever home straight, before 30 years old. And it's like, man, that must be nice. I think also that we work harder jobs as youth. For example, my first job was a brick apprentice. Do you know how hard it is to be a brick apprentice? That means you're in the heat all day, sweating, doing back bending labor, whereas I have students who are lifeguards. and or you work at a country club, or you do an internship at your daddy's firm. Like that's like cake and a really easy job to have at 16, and you get to keep all your money. Whereas when we get our money, it's like, what bills can you pay? But you also want to pay that bill, and I know a lot of the brothers hit on this already. You want to pay that bill. Let me also say this. Since I was about 8 years old, I was always told, you're going to be the one that get us out the hood. Meaning not just from my family, but from the whole entire hood. And I had multiple hoods I was representing. So people was like, you speak well, you smart. Everybody thought I was going to be a professional athlete for some reason. I don't know why. But it was like everybody since then was already putting their money in and putting their investments into me because they thought I would be the one to uplift everybody, which I am trying to do. But that's the reason why so many of our athletes go broke, because it's like, who do they say no to? Because this person has invested time in them. This person kept them from getting beat up. That person kept them from getting shot. So it was like, hey, you can't touch this kid right here because he with me. So it's like, that's a part of the black tax as well, is that the hood is going to invest so heavily into you that when you do make it, you feel obliged to give back to the hood because they've done so much for you. But I would encourage our athletes to say, look, man, you got to cut it off somewhere. But once you make it to that level, who do you say no to? I couldn't say no to my aunt. I couldn't say no to my uncle. So it is hard. That's one of those things. It also pushes us to grow up and mature faster, especially as young men, because like somebody said, your granddad died, you can't afford to bury him. So what you gonna do? You're not old enough to get a legal job. So what you gonna do? Start hustling. So you either gonna start hustling, maybe using your body like cutting grass, or sweeping, doing manual labor, or you gonna go to the streets and start hustling that way.
Selling
One of the ways that I used to hustle was hooping. I used to trick people into thinking that I couldn't play, and then they would, we gonna get over them. I was like, well, put
no, you can't shoot no damn ball.
We'll settle that later. So it makes us grow up so fast, which hinders us in education, because let's say I'm 16, not even 16, I'm 15 years old. At home, I operate as a man. I pay bills, I come and go as I please, but then I'm expected to go to school and listen to somebody telling me to sit down, be quiet, do this. So that's like a continuous cycle, and that's something as an educator I try to get other educators to see, is that, hey, these kids operate a lot of times at 13, 14 as adults. Like they move as they want, like they got girlfriends, and all that type of stuff. They have women sometimes, and they are moving freely as adults. So you're talking to them and you picking at them about their shirt tail being tucked in when it's bigger fish that we have to fry. I also think that when and I'm coming to a close here, but when you grow up fast and you paying bills and things like that, it almost robs us of our childhood, because whereas some problems that we started facing at 12 and 13, other people never face, or they don't face them until way later. But that also speaks to the resilience of us as black men and black women, and just strong people. It speaks to that, and it makes us that strong. But sometimes it does break certain people. The rest of us, it kind of makes us strong. And the last thing, I know you guys were talking about like the True Religion jeans and Jordans and things like that. That's because a lot of times we don't understand what wealth is. So we want to show that we ain't in the project, we ain't struggling. So I'm gonna buy some Jordans. I can afford Jordans and things like that. So a lot of kids that I've mentored and talked to, they don't know what wealth is. They don't know what is more out of life. So they think more out of life is, oh, I got a truck with some rims on it, and I got J's. I get J's every time they come out. Now realizing that that's not wealth. So we don't have we don't have really a good understanding of what wealth is. So we don't understand how to buy and what to buy our kids, because we don't understand what wealth is. I've seen a lot of kids that say wealth is I have an iPhone 11. That's not wealth. So we have to be able to understand that.
T, block that bot. I want to read these comments. I'm stuck on one in this certain area because I want to read these comments. So block that bot for me. Aladaho Adiola. I think
it's Oladejo Adiola.
I got it. Yeah.
So Demetrius, sacrifice is harder for the new generation. We're used to our comforts, but the only way Black people have made strides toward betterment is when a generation gave major sacrifices for another generation. Jessica, our past
Yeah.
generation was taught to be complacent, get a good job, and stay there. Some of our generation are afraid to move around to make the money they should be making. And there was another comment I wanted to I read real quick. I think it was Mimi that said her PhD as a black woman was economically equivalent to a high school diploma as a white woman, and that's powerful. That's something else we have to talk about another time. But real quick, Crow, T, and Denraw. I'm gonna close it out with Denraw. Or T, Crow, Denraw. I don't care how y'all go. But I know
Nah,
Yeah.
Denraw wanted to talk about
I ain't even gonna talk about it, bro. Y'all pretty much hit it on the head. I wanted to get down deep into it, but
I
I'm gonna
just
let I'm gonna let y'all rock tonight, man. You know what I'm saying?
it.
All I'm gonna say is we have to embrace the struggle. Without struggle, there's no progress. We are most for the majority first generation successful black men in America. You know what I'm saying? If we're not first, we're second. My grandmother was a sharecropper and she had a junior high education. You know what I'm saying? And people act like Jim Crow and slavery was so long ago. Like it wasn't long ago. You know what I'm saying? So the black tax is what I mean. We shouldn't have to go through it, but it is a part of life. So we just have to be resilient and keep pushing forward. Because at the end of the day, of course, we come from the hood. Of course, we the chosen one. Of course, everybody looks for us to help out in some kind of way. But I just want to give everybody this um, ray of light. Learn how to say no. I don't care who you are. If you're an athlete, you make millions of dollars. Learn how to say no and don't feel a way about it. Go ahead, Crow.
So hold on before you go, Crow, because I know Denraw brought up a question in the group chat. We're talking about the black tax, but what is black? What does it mean to be black? So Denraw, I want you to touch on that when you're giving your opinion, and we'll probably consider that and go in detail and delve a little bit more next time. But Crow, go ahead.
I just want to touch on black tax as far as like T said, just kind of remembering that we all kind of been touched by the black tax, whether it's a cousin, whether it's family. We got to remember some of our parents tax us or either tax family by putting bills in our name when we were young, by getting credit cards in family members' name when they were young. Like honestly, and we got a lot of people that a lot of our college mates, a lot of my high school classmates didn't find out about that until they graduated high school or got into college and applied for certain things. And then they found out that they had a water bill or a light bill in 1992 and 91 that never was paid in their name, or outstanding credit card bill from 89 and they were number 6 at the time, you know, and they coming across things like this. So that's one level of the black tax that they getting hit that they got to recover from. Then, like you said, as that teenager, you grow up. Sometimes mama and daddy, we got to remember, like you said, a lot of our parents wasn't educated, or whoever raised us, our grandmothers wasn't educated, whoever raised us. So then we had to chip in to help make ends meet because sometimes we had other siblings there, other cousins there. Uh, it was some grown uncles there, grown aunties there, you know, and you had to chip in. Everybody had to chip in to make that ends meet. So then by the time you graduate, you don't have any savings. You either going to college with nothing to your name, but a new whole loan, or either you leaving straight out of high school, going to the military with no financial sense, and all of a sudden you get that first big check from the military, and
Go
you
back, Denraw.
to go send that off to family back home. If you that athlete coming straight from college, there's just so many scenarios. So like T say, we gotta embrace the struggle. But now that we know better, you know, when you know better, you're supposed to do better. You know, fool me once, shame on me. So yeah, our grandparents got food, so shame on them. Then our parents, you know, now we the generation that, hey, you shouldn't make us look like a fool now. So we should be preaching that financial wealth. You know, we shouldn't be talking about a black tax being a burden. We should be talking about actually giving more into this black tax because Yes, my line brother Denral, he's from the Gambia, West Africa, and I think he spoke on it that that they give back to their and we're gonna find out if it's true that they give back to their elderly and their culture and make sure that they're good or what have you. So this be something that we should look forward to. Yes, it's a burden for those first generation, second generation, but by the time it hit the fifth and sixth generation, it should be a breeze. Like it should be this house left for them from great such and such, and it's like this. We got these businesses and it's been in the family since such and such. And now this the third generation, fourth generation running it, and it's easy now. But go ahead, then Raul, keep it going.
Ooh, Crow, you brought up a good
Yeah,
point. We're gonna talk about it. Go
yeah,
ahead,
I'm just
Rob.
going to talk about the. I'm just going to talk about a bit about the black tax here. I don't have too much experience with it, but I'm going to leave you guys with a story that I was told not too long ago, and it's a true story actually. In order to solve that problem, there used to be a cola nut seller, and he said it best. The degree doesn't mean a thing. There used to be a cola nut seller in Nigeria some years ago, maybe in the early 1900s, who made millions off of just selling cola nuts on the street, right? But he realized that there was this problem of his businesses being squandered by the second generation. So this guy's name was Dan Tata. Okay, he was a Nigerian guy. So he looked around and he said, well, I'm not going to give my sons this business for them to squander and use up all my millions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call all of them and tell them, look, I'm not giving you my business, but what I'll do is we're going to create a trust fund, and we're going to put some of this money away. And so for future generations, whoever wants to come in and loan from this and start up their own business, then we can do it that way. And funny enough, one of the grandsons came later on and borrowed from this money about $2 million and started up his own business. And guess who one of his grandsons was? Dangote. I don't know if you guys know about the richest man in Africa. His name is Dangote. So Dangote was one who actually started off from the wisdom of his grandfather, Dan Tata, in the sense that he knew that this generational wealth had to be continued and not squandered by a future generation. So yeah, that's just a story. It's a true story. You can look up Dangote if you don't know who he is, but he's actually a very prominent figure here in Africa. Yeah, that's just one way to solve it. You have to have someone with the wisdom to sort of like put some of that money away and say, look, guys, if you want to start a business, come over here and loan some of this money and start, making something out of it. So yeah, people just have to have that wisdom, That's all I have to say. I don't have too much experience.
And I think it's probably going to start with our generation, because I think it's pretty common about how parents and grandparents in the past have put credit cards and bills and names and tarnished credit scores at an early age, not knowing what a good credit score or a bad credit score really mean. But they did it because they had to, because if they didn't put it in their child's name, how was the bill going to get paid, or well, the credit, where was it going to come from? So we could really go into deep down into the black tax and how it really affects us as a people. We have to continue this conversation another time. But do I have any final comments about the black tax before we move on? Because, like I said, this could go deep. And Corey or Rob, if y'all have anything, raise your hand.
Final comment from me was basically, we talking about black tax in our family, but you got to understand that it is a black tax in corporate America too, as far as working 10 times harder, not being promoted at certain times and stuff like that. So don't forget that aspect of the black tax. I know we're talking about taking care of our family and all that, but that black tax run deep, man. So
it does. Like I said, black women have to work twice as hard to get. They're not paid, but 80-some cent on the dollar compared to the white man and compared to the white woman. So it definitely runs deep. Go ahead, Jay Ward.
Just two things. Like he was saying, having to work so hard and then hide your culture and hide so many aspects of yourselves. And I know so many black women who get grief and struggle because of their natural hair. It's like, damn, I'm trying to do a job and you worried about my hair. So it's like, that's a part of the black tax as well. Or even I do it when school is about to start. I cut my beard down and all that type of stuff, because it's like, they get intimidated and it's like I look more thuggish or whatever.
You see the beard? What you say?
There you go,
not
T.
there. See?
There you
Uh, also, like I think Crow hit on this. Man, it's like we are given bad credit because of that. It's like you come into the game with bad
go.
credit
Yep.
and you're like, how I get it? Like what happened? The bills and the stuff in your name, and that's setting us back. So, shout out to just the endurance and the resilience of our people to be able to overcome and overcome and overcome all these obstacles that are placed in front of us. And then, shout out to the people who, you might not feel like you overcame that obstacle, but it's never too late to put that work in. That's the purpose of this podcast, to give people knowledge. I've learned a lot. Hopefully other people are learning a lot.
You took my comment. I was gonna say that's the purpose of this podcast, so we cannot make the same mistakes we made in the past and move forward. E, I see you praying hand. Go ahead.
Bro. I just really, really, really want y'all to learn finance, bro. Do some reading, do some research. Stop waiting on somebody else to come take care of you. Take action yourself, bro. Y'all old enough to be an able-bodied. You can make money off the fucking internet, bro. Like, it is so many ways to make money to be the start of generational wealth.
Bitcoin.
Ooh,
He on the black market selling.
you thought it. You thought it. I'm in crypto though, and I'm up. What's happening? But I'm just saying.
I'm so pissed, bro. I put in 7 shares of Overstock when it was at $7. It was at like $100 something last week. I'm pissed, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about finance and investing later.
That's just my thing, bro. Do y'all research, man. Jobs are not gonna make you rich, bro. Cancel that dream that you were sold, that get a good job, you'll be all right. Stop thinking that shit. That's the trap that we have fallen into. I don't care how much money you make. If you work for somebody else, you will never get paid your true value. Sleep on that.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the hold on, say what now. Y'all wanted to talk about it. I don't mind. This gonna be this gonna be interesting. So hold on, say what now. They brought it to my attention. They wanted to talk about their favorite, and we're gonna switch categories for just a quick second. Now we do try to educate on our podcast.
Can I get the background history of how it started, Swift?
I will. Let me get into what it is first. Then we go there. So for this episode, hold on, say what now. We are going to give, and it's gonna be funny as hell, our favorite Honolulu memory. Once again, we are going to give our favorite Honolulu memory. Now, I know we have a lot of people on here that did not go to JSU that have absolutely no idea what Honolulu is. Corey and Rob, I'm bringing y'all back in for this too, because y'all gonna give y'all favorite Honolulu memory too. Rob, I see you laughing in the background, but we gonna talk about it because I want people to understand what the HBC. Now, Zay, don't leave. You can give your favorite Honolulu memory too in the comments. So if you have a favorite Honolulu memory and you went to Jackson State, put it in the comments. So, Crow, I want to talk about what Honolulu is, how it started, and I don't know where it is now because of coronavirus, but just in your experiences with Honolulu and your favorite Honolulu memory, because we have a lot of people on here that did not go to JSU or didn't go to HBCU, so they don't understand the HBCU experience and what a Sigma Alpha Beta Week, I don't know about other Sigmas, what Alpha Beta Week really means.
Alpha Beta Week.
Honolulu.
Honolulu, food.
Yeah, fix the title, bro. Fix the title.
Honolulu. So, Crow, I think Denver was there for the start of it to see him, bro.
So it's ironic that you have two of the incorporators of Honolulu on here. So it was an old head, definitely named Toby Johnson. Claude was definitely like the chairman. Then you had my line brother Ed sitting at the table, probably being the co-chair hype man. And then it was brought to EWAP, which is Eric, Darren, Twin, Denraw, and then, Dre, definitely being a financial guy at that time. He was trying to, tell us we had to calm down with all ideas that we had in our head. So Honolulu was the brainchild of '03 with one old head, which is Toby Johnson, who was definitely one of the hypest. So as you can see, Honolulu has lasted close to 2 decades strong. And
Wow. Still going on.
I think maybe 18 or either 19 start calling it Sigma Week again. But we're trying to get it back to Honolulu. But honestly, '04, to give you all some more history, '04, we were the brainchild. '03, we the brainchild. We came up with it. And we gave it to '04 because we was on walk papers, type papers back then. And you were gonna hand out those flyers and you were gonna go get it. And so we put '04 to work. In '04, they grinded hard and they went to work, honestly. And we served Crawdads the first one. We did.
Hold on. Before you continue, Crow, let me go a little bit further. For the people that really don't understand, at HBCUs we have what I call Greek weeks, where we have our events. At most HBCUs, there is a mandate that Greek organizations must have a certain amount of educational events a year, right? So you got to have certain forums. Alpha Beta, we had our forums throughout the academic year. So when it came time for Honolulu, it was nothing but partying and turning up, nothing but events.
I'm getting tired of that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, crime. So Honolulu was nothing but partying and social events. Go ahead, Crow.
So first Honolulu, like I said, happened in '04. It started off with us, like I said, we were kind of honestly, we had the vision of making it the Hawaiian style. We had crawdads. We had the get laid or get lost. That was our event, you know. We were getting our lays, you know what I'm saying? That we took over the Palisades, you know. And I'm gonna give you all each a chance to tell your part, but I want to give you all props for each year evolving it, from adding phone parties to it. To
Stop. Nope, you done.
I gotta get the shots out, honestly, because if you don't talk about the evolution that I've seen, you know, because I'm the old head.
Okay.
And to see it evolve, you know, I would not be giving you all your just do and let you all just say, oh yeah, the phone parties, this, that, and the other, and not give y'all just do, to be honest.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Because y'all did some amazing things with Honolulu. To truly be honest, we started off with a vision. We had the pageant, but the pageant blossomed to a greater. It was like the Miss Universe pageant, to be honest. Once it was all said and done. With y'all.
So yeah, let's
keep going. But yeah,
then Raw, because I'm gonna bring Rob in, then CJB back in. Then Raw, what is your favorite Honolulu memory?
04, hands down. I mean, you need to understand, like Crowley said, even though it was a party thing, I'm going to be honest with you. When 03 came through, I mean, our average GPA was over 3 point something. We had the highest GPA at the time from all the lands. So we were about the business, about class and everything. I mean, you can look at our careers now. You can tell from the twin, gray, everywhere. But when it came to partying, we partied hard. And we were surrounded by old heads that were just super hype, like Toby Johnson, you know, with Hut. There was so much creativity at the time. It just wasn't Honolulu. We created Hut. We created party walks just off the top of our head. You know, I mean, I played tennis and OZ and we created this party walk, a tennis party walk. It was just so much creativity with Toby, with what's it called, Terrell, and so many others. And so Honolulu was just, like Crowley said, something that came off. And for me, it was 04 hands down. And the party at Soup's the Ultimate was it was insane. I mean, Claude had a Hawaiian skirt. I mean, it was unbelievable. So when 04 came through, we made sure that, you know, they had it nice, man. It was fun times, really, really fun
Yeah,
times.
yeah, boy.
We'll talk about the where Hunter Wu came from another time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Then Ross, stick on because we gotta get your final
I'm gonna
comment.
see if I can find some pictures. Hold on.
Yeah. Hey, listen. What they saying is true, man, because 03, they put it into action. You know what I'm saying? And they had it laid out, man. Time we crossed in 04, we had a big party for Hunter Blue. So that 04 Hunter Blue was crazy. But that 05 Hunter Blue, 04 came up with the Hunter Blue pageant. And when I say that Hunter Blue pageant in 05, bro, it had every bad lady on the yard in it, dog. We had J-Sis, we had Greek, we had regulars. Like, it was hard, bro. So that 05 Hunter Blue pageant, which was put in place by 04, yours truly, me and my LB Rob. Shout out to Too Hot. We came up with that Hunter Blue pageant, dog, and it was crazy, dog. That's my favorite Hunter Blue memory, man. The Hunter Blue pageant 05, man. The first one.
I don't know why AKAs and Deltas never wanted to get in the pageant when we was on y'all.
They was in our pageant, bro. We had all the top Deltas, all the top AKAs, all the top Zetas, everything.
I see Chauncey and I see J Bell in the. Why didn't y'all want to get y'all girls in our pageant? I want to know. I really want to know.
Because they wanted to talk about them.
Rob, what's your favorite Hunter Blue memory?
But the women was getting paid though. They did get paid. The winner got paid. You know what I'm saying? While I was, you know what I'm saying?
Denral talked about all of the creativity that was going on around that time. And so around the Honolulu vibe came Ladies Night. And so for me, Ladies Night was so crazy.
No,
they almost shut us. It was it was literally the best ever. That was amazing. That's my best memory.
Get out.
We might have to skip this.
All right, Swift, I'll go. You can switch Corey on after I go. Let me just say, man, I just want to give a shout out, man, to our predecessors who came before us that laid the foundation for Alpha Beta, and we have certain lines, and then certain certain people that are like legendary, Claude and all that. I ain't gonna pump his ego up because his ego already high enough. Claude, James Gordon, Crowley, all them. But 07 is the year that really made me just really, love Phi Beta Sigma and have an interest in them. And also, I just want to say that the brotherhood and the sisterhood that I saw exhibited from Phi Beta Sigma and Zeta is what made me want to pledge, because I saw that brotherhood and that sisterhood. I know that's a different topic, but I just want to say that I saw actual brotherhood, actual sisterhood, and I'm from a family who no one is Greek other than me, so I didn't even know what was going on. And then a lot of people actually thought I was going to be an alpha because my mentor is an alpha, my best friend's an alpha, but I just was like, Phi Beta Sigma really represents brotherhood. My favorite Honolulu memory is the phone party. Man, that phone party was ridiculous. And I actually was simulating a certain sexual act. And I was on the ground and I almost choked on the phone because I was just down there on the ground, like on my back. And that phone party was crazy. And then right after that, we had another one and it was cold. What year was it when it was cold? Like 2010 or something like that?
It was probably 10 or 11.
It was cold, but then you still had all these people show up for a phone party where it's cold in bathing suits and short shorts and swim trunks and things like that. So it just let us know that we really had a great product. So I think that was one of my my favorite memories. And then also, if you've never experienced the Blue and White Fam in the horseshoe for the show during the Jackson State game, you have missed out on life because that's one of the most hype events you can ever see.
Listen, that phone party in 2009. What's that club that was on ML?
Rain.
Club Rain.
Club.
I want to give. I want to give
That one was. Ooh.
to Ja'Cory Peach. That was his idea. He spearheaded that.
Mm-hmm.
And 09 took it and ran with it the following year. That was his idea. Went hard with it.
Yeah, that was stupid.
11 took it after that. And it just kept on growing. So I want to JP his flowers.
Man, I was in Club Brain at the phone party with nothing but a rubber ducky on. That phone party was lit and some blue boots. Go ahead, Cor. What's your favorite Honolulu memory?
I mean, I can only say I had like 1 year because like after my Neo year, I was like on the business side of everything. So shit, I couldn't really enjoy Honolulu week because I had to, count the money and everything, the pageant, the party. One thing I want to point out though, the pageant was not a whole pageant. I got tired of everybody on the yard hating on our contestants, telling them they weren't gonna make line and this and that. It was one girl that dropped because somebody, a certain sorority who I'm not gonna name, told her she wasn't gonna make line. She didn't even have a GPA for it anyway. But fine. But anyway, that's not a whole pageant. But my favorite year was my Neo year, spring 09. I think the Moonlight Step Show, and that's when the pageant was on a Wednesday. The pageant went hard. That was the first year. That was the inaugural phone party. And I don't even know the picnic. That was always some bullshit because everybody will be too tired to actually have a picnic. But
14,
pageant, that was my first time. So what theirs turned out good, but the years up to that wasn't good. But the actual pageant was my first time witnessing that, and I was just blown away by the pageant. It was like, it wasn't nothing that you will see in a strip club. The ladies wasn't just going out top, but it was like the crowd was involved. We had a good DJ. We had we had contests and all that shit. So it just worked out. And as far as the phone party, it's like, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We had a lit ass phone machine that first year. I'm talking about that shit wasn't spitting out no phone, but the party was still lit. Now that first year we had one.
Okay.
And it was a small phone party. It was a small ass phone machine. Now the second year when 2010 got online, that's when we got the real deal. So it was different.
But did you die?
We had Club Rain.
Club Rain.
And what's so crazy about Club Rain? But Club Rain was in the Club Rain was in the middle of the fucking hood.
That's my hood. Calm down.
Hey, I'm just let's keep it buck. Let's keep it buck. Let's keep it buck, Crow.
That's my hood.
Club Rain.
Respect.
But it's like
Respect.
I ain't saying nothing bad about it. I'm just saying where we was at. We got complaints about folks' car getting broken into. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like I knew eventually Honolulu was gonna run its course because, like, looking back, we got away with a lot of stuff, and it's like the stuff that y'all did back in 03 and 04 and 05. We couldn't do that in 09, 10, and 11. Like, y'all had the Honolulu pageant and fucking Rose E. McCoy. Like, how was that possible?
Hey, no, Corey, I got one for you. Our ladies' night was in the old Union on the second floor, G. Like, it was, hey.
We ain't had no ladies night, so I don't know. I ain't really got nothing. We ain't had no ladies night, so I don't really know what went on with that.
So E, what's your favorite memory?
I'm gonna say phone party in rain.
I bet.
That's when they had the shit in the center and the little curtains and all that shit.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, that one was lit. 2012 when white chocolate fell, trying to walk in them heels. That shit was epic in the pageant.
That was the last year, wasn't it?
The last one was 2015. That's when the old girl kept falling.
Yeah.
Age trying to walk, and she couldn't walk on them heels either.
Yeah.
Like she fell in the GPR all the time. They made
she was fine though.
Video. No, she just had ass. She wasn't fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit. I mean, each his own. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? No shade. You know what I'm saying? And I think like whatever year that life jacket, but I had that life jacket that said I'm saving these hoes. That life jacket was fired. The life jacket was fired, and that's when me and my LB was hanging from the ceiling up in what there was a Nick. When we because Rain had got shut down. We couldn't go to Rain. We put it in electric cowboy. It was called a spot. That's what it was.
Yeah, y'all was out Ridgewood. Y'all took it over there.
Yeah, and that
it's like.
But y'all went in with somebody else. But we'll talk about that in the group chat. But there was one Honolulu pageant where somebody kept going the wrong way, and everybody kept telling the point and going the wrong way, and she finally went the right way, and then everybody started clapping. That shit was funny as hell too. I don't know if y'all remember that one. T, what's your?
Was that when you got booed on stage?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro, nobody wanted the host on a blue there. Like, come on.
It was real like we asked. Hold up. I'm gonna cut Swift. Like Swift was like he the one that volunteered to host on a blue pageant. Nobody wanted to do it. Mitch showed up out of nowhere. Being Mitch, just jumped on the stage and just, asked everybody, you want to see Swift? Or they just booed Swift. They just rolled with it. It was good, like, as far as the crowd participation.
Yeah.
Like, that was dope, man. But nigga got booed off the stage.
I ain't get booed now. They asked. That's what they asked if they want to see Swift take his robe off. I'm like, fuck that. Dino, you got this shit. T, what's your favorite Honolulu memory?
Boy, I already gave my favorite Honolulu memory, boy.
Oh, he did.
That whiskey.
But Honolulu had a good run, man. We're gonna drink today. It started in 03. It went again. It went all the way up to 2016, 15. It just faded out, and it was like I hate to say it, and I'm gonna be real about it. Honolulu wasn't meant to keep going, bro. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like
it grew its own.
Wasn't meant. It wasn't meant to grow.
And got out there, man. Shout out to
like,
man, y'all gotta got this coming to my y'all got. I did not get booed. Fuck all y'all.
You did get booed.
I remember. It's different on the advisor side. I remember when I was an advisor, right? How about it was the Butch, Dr. Vivian Fuller, and it was Carolyn DeVille. The Butch. That's what she was. That's called what it is. That lady called my phone. I'll never forget. She called my phone the day of the pageant. And she was like, she heard, it was a girl on stage drunk last year. Because I'm going to tell you what the new dudes fucked up at. Back in 09 and on back, you didn't have no cameras in the pageant, period. Nothing. These little niggas get in, start recording shit, start posting shit, and shit go viral. Like, that's what fucked up everything as far as the pageant is concerned. That shit did not need to touch social media in a video way. These niggas recording shit, and they basically just fucked it up for, the future lines of AB. That was the downfall that year when old girl, that shit was funny. When old girl fell, people don't know the ramifications. That was the downfall of the Honolulu pageant right there, because that shit went viral.
Yeah.
It's like
we didn't have social media.
Telling me women to show they see on Instagram.
Because if we had social media during our pageants and during our phone parties and E behind the curtain with, I ain't gonna say, wow. Woo! Wow. So moving on, do we have any final comments?
Nah, bro. That's it.
When Cheney left, we lost all.
Long live Honolulu. Long live Alpha Beta.
But I'm gonna say this:
making a resurrection.
If we have homecoming during the spring, we're gonna try to set something up for y'all. I'm gonna put this on. I'm putting this on the pot on the show right now. We're gonna set some up for 'em. I want y'all input too. I ain't doing this by myself. So moving on, last topic for the night.
Let me go and have this surgery so I can
I know,
be
right?
clean, fine.
I wasn't gonna say no names. Moving on. So that was a good topic. But on social media, we've seen a different type of debate. It's almost ongoing, almost every day, and I don't see it in real life. But we're gonna talk about it. A lot of black women feel like black men don't support or protect them. I don't know if it's just a social media thing or if it's really how they feel. So I want to start this conversation with you, gentlemen. Have you seen the social media post about black men not supporting and protecting, or I'm just stick with supporting, not supporting black women? And if so, how do you feel about it? Because it's been pretty prevalent, especially with Kamala Harris being nominated as vice president. How do you feel about the notion that black men do not support black women? Like, what's your position on it, and do you see it in?
It's fake news. It's fake news. It's a false narrative that gets portrayed onto upstanding black men such as ourselves. Right now, I've seen one instance on Twitter that this dude went out and like camped out outside this black woman house to protect her basically from her racist ass neighbors. He went and got like a whole neighborhood watch started, and like he even got like the Crips up in the city involved too. That because like she can't move or something like that is going on, but like her neighbors had been like harassing her, like throwing dog shit in her yard, throwing dead squirrels, giving her like a whole bunch of like racist ass threats, and then they was walking around with guns, talking about they gonna kill her and shit like that. So I ain't never seen no black woman do that with no black man. I don't see nobody out like, you know what I'm saying, making human shields or getting a coalition started to protect the black man that walk down the street that can get shot by the police. But you know what I'm saying? The thing is, it's not even about who has it worse, which is what they try to make it seem. Like, I think we need to all, like, both sides need to go to like a common goal. Like, both black men and black women are damn near endangered species as humans. You know what I'm saying? Because the odds are stacked against us either way it goes. Both are being discriminated against, both being killed at a higher rate than other counterpart races. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like it's not to me. I don't feel like it's real. I think like a lot of times they see these celebrities or whatever, and the instance happens to a celebrity, and then it be like, oh yeah, black men don't protect black women. Like what? That's what that's got to do with anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? You everybody that's in the chat feeling some type of way. Y'all deal with a black man, do y'all feel protected by him, yes or no? What danger you been in? If you just going to work and shit like that. Like where's the danger? How are you not protected? Where is your immediate threat that you face every day? Outside of just regular just being black. Where is your immediate threat? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Y'all say I'm asking. Y'all saying black women don't get protected. Nobody looks out for y'all. When are y'all in danger? Outside of the normal society that we already live in, what extra danger do y'all face?
So can I comment?
Before you do,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Before you do, it is levels to this. I am making it very general. I saw a few people comment that it's too broad, but that's what we've been seeing on social media. The comments and the conversation has been general. Black women have put on social media. I can post it right now. Black women have been putting on social media they don't feel supportive or protective by black men. Jay Ward, go ahead real quick so I can bring in Rob and then Rob.
I just want to say that the world doesn't love black women. Like from their hair to how they dress to their bodies and all that. Like I got so exhausted over the past week or so, or 2 weeks, from how people broke down the whole Beyonce thing and the Black is King, how they broke that down and hyper analyzed that, and then how people hyper analyze the whole WAP video and the song, and I'm just like, that's exhausting. Whereas women of other cultures make ridiculous art or great art all the time, and it doesn't, their whole reputations or their whole livelihood doesn't rely on that. And I think that, for society to already be against black women, it's like, I'm coming to you, black man, because you're supposed to be the person when everyone else is turned against me. You're supposed to be the person that protects me and rides for me. And now with Kamala Harris, black men have been one of the biggest people saying, well, she ain't black, or she ain't this, or her prosecution rate and all that. I'm like, come on, man, that's what people are talking about. Like, are you gonna ride for me or not? That's the same thing. Is there people who ride for R. Kelly harder than they would ride for Kamala Harris because of her prosecution rate, but don't even know who the prosecutor is in their own state? So it's like,
Those,
y'all grasping for straws on that. And I feel
those
like,
are women
we
that
have to,
arrive for R. Kelly.
we have to protect our women, but I think it is a misconception because I think it's based off of social media. I think it's all based off of social media because every black man I know is going to ride for the black woman. They ain't letting no brother or no other person put hands on our black women. They're not letting you talk out of line to our black women. So these are the black men that I know. So just because in mainstream media or social media is not being accepted, I do believe that, the black men that I know are going to ride for our black women, and they expect us to herald and defend and champion their cause, and not be something that's a deterrent or a negative in what they're trying to accomplish. And we have to be able to be those persons that advocate for them, because a lot of people, not to speak biblically, because I know a lot of people do this, but biblically the man is supposed to be the stronger species or whatever. So we need to be those people who put a circle around our black women and stand for them. Also, I think we do that. I know that everybody I know, like, as an educator, that I always put a blanket around my young black girls to make sure no one is harming them, because this is something that's also a part of the black tax that we talked about. A lot of my 15-year-old, 16-year-old, even 13-year-old students, they develop quickly, and oftentimes they are approached by grown men. And the sad part about that is, they shouldn't have to tell a grown man that I'm 13, and that's a part of, just one of the things that's cultural and societal that our daughters and our young women have to go through. And there, a lot of times, there's no man to say, hey, look, man, leave that little girl alone. And so that's one of the things that, it's all, I think it's a culmination of a lot of times that our race of people have failed our black women, is because it's like, where were you when, I had to tell the 19-year-old dude to leave me alone? Where were you when, the white woman wanted to touch my hair? Where were you? And it's just like, we can't be everywhere. We're not Superman. Um, so I do believe that it is a misconception that we're not riding for them, but I would ultimately say we got to ride harder. We got to do more. We have to be more vocal, and then we have to make sure that we're not turning into the oppressor of our people that our black women so much are afraid of and so much hate. We have to make sure that we ourselves are not oppressing them for not being perfection or not being, what we consider standards. We have to make sure that we're not, carrying out that stereotype as well. And so we have to protect them in that way also, to where we're not holding them to an unfair standard that we wouldn't hold ourselves to. So let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's hold them accountable and make sure that, I look at it like how I look at a family. In my family, we can talk about each other and joke about each other all day long. But if someone outside of our family jokes on us, it's like all of us gonna turn on you and we all about to whoop you. And I think we need to protect our black women that same way. Like, you know, we may be able to joke within ourselves and have inside jokes about each other, but we're not gonna let some other people or someone else attack us and come for us. No, you're not doing that. We're gonna come for each other. Like, I love the rivalry between Jackson State and Grambling. I'm from Louisiana. My aunt went to Grambling. I was taught Grambling, but I ended up going to Jackson State. So I love that beef. But when somebody outside of our circle comes to Grambling, I'm gonna ride hard for Grambling like I went to Grambling. So I'm gonna ride hard for every black woman, every minority woman, every single time.
So let me go this. I see Corey wants to jump in, but real quick, I see a lot of black women in the comments saying they feel protected by the men in their lives. I know in a few other episodes we talked about Instagram, cloud, and just social media and the influence in general. Do you feel that if it's not seen on social media, the black men, the black men not pushing that narrative, that black women feel like, well, if they're not talking about on social media, not posting Breonna Taylor killers haven't been arrested, they don't care. So either CJB or Rob, chime in on that.
I'll let
I
you go,
know.
CJB. I'll go after you. I go.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I know Rob got way more to say than I do, but it bothers me when that's being said because like I feel like most black women are watching it like an occurrence that happened on social media, like and they'll lump every black man in the planet with that particular black man. Like say for instance, like the whole Meg Thee Stallion situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
All we know is she got shot in the foot by Tory Lanez. So that started a whole outrage about how black men don't protect black women. Like, how is a black man supposed to protect her in that situation? Like, we don't even know all the details that happened. But I feel like I'm pretty sure women do go through way more than what we go through. It's like a woman can't walk down the street if a guy, asks her for a number and she tells him no, and he'll keep being persistent. And some women just give the number just so she can get away because you don't know how that guy reacts when he gets rejection. So I do feel like women are put in the front line of danger a lot, in regards to, some people might try to rob them coming out of the store by themselves. It's just different things like that. But to say that black men don't protect black women as a whole is kind of like a shot, kind of like a bullet, somebody shooting you in the chest when it doesn't really apply to you. It's like I know from our aspect, if we're walking down the street and we see a dude jumping on a dude jumping on this girl, we're going to think twice about jumping in because one, you don't know, that girl probably might turn around and jump on you along with the guy. Two, you don't know if the guy carrying a gun, so you don't know if you're willing to risk your life because you have to go back home to your family. So there's just a lot of different moving parts to talk about. But I just feel like a lot of people group in one occurrence when you have one guy because it's not going to be 100% of black people don't view women the same. Like, of course, most of us are respectful, we uplift, we protect all the women, our family, people we're married to, our friends. We would do that, but it doesn't mean the next black man around the corner would do that. So just because he will not do that, we get lumped in with everybody. So I don't think that. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. So, and it's kind of like, make things worse than what they are. Like, I think, like E said, like, we can't have an oppression war amongst black men and black women. I feel like we have oppression wars, it's like about who got it harder, and it just goes back and forth. Like, I have, like Jay Ward said something about Kamala Harris. I don't think that people are upset with Kamala Harris because she's a woman. I think that people are upset with Kamala Harris because she pick and chooses when she wants to be black. I think that's a completely different topic. So one thing about being of different heritage, you can. It's a lot of people that come in and benefit and say they're black, they're black, they're black. But when they get what they want, they turn their back to black people. And that happens a lot. That happens in politics. That happens in entertainment. That happens in sports. So I think people are, I guess, a little protective about that aspect of it. But that's a different topic.
Absolutely.
Hey, cause I already know my line brother Rob gonna do his thing. I just want to get this out the way real quick. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop falling victim to the media narrative. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, black men don't marry white black women, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. Like, no, 85% of black men are married to black women. You know what I'm saying? But we let the media portray all this stuff like, okay, black on black crime. No, it's no such thing as black on black crime. So you keep on letting the media tell you that black men don't protect black women when that's not true, because it's a lot of black men that support our women, push them to greater heights, will jump in front of a bullet for these women. And these are strangers too. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we got to quit falling into the trap of this media narrative that keep trying to pit us against each other. Because at the same time, we are all that we have. You know what I'm saying? We are a special people, and we need to act like we are a special people. We need to put our best foot forward. That's for black men and black women. Now, I will say that sometimes black men have dropped the ball, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of that is due to systematic oppression and racism and being out the house and laws coming for us and being put in these positions to fail. So then when we're failing, our women have to pick up the slack, and they're looking at us like, damn, where is the men? Why are the men not here and all this stuff, when it's bigger than just the support. So I want to tell all the black women out there that you have someone that has your back unconditionally. So please just do not fall into the media narrative, man. Real talk.
I'm gonna go Rob then Crow. I see Crow. You see you raising your hand. Let me get Rob in real quick.
All right. So white supremacy is a dangerous drug, man. So we have to put things into perspective. I just want to say that, man. I'm on social media a lot because I'm pushing products. I'm doing stuff. I'm getting into the social media streets because I like to see what people are talking about, and I'm not easily swayed by people's opinions and what they got to say. But I like to get different opinions, and I don't like to create an echo chamber. So I like to listen to women who are pissed off at black men. I like to listen to women who support black men. I like to listen to the stuff in between. What I see just on social media is what is your worldview? So when you say black men don't support black women, what are you talking about? Because what I usually see is a story will pop up and then that narrative will pop back up again. Black men don't support black women. And it just seems to be a parroting thing, man, where there's no substance to it. It's just people repeating what they've heard over and over and over again. And so what we got to do as black people is stop generalizing, because we don't like it done to us as a race. We don't like white people putting us all in the aggressive baby mama, baby daddy, drug dealer, criminalized race of people, but we do it to each other all the time. We do it to black women do it to black men, but we don't like people to do it to us. So we got to stop doing that, because when you speak in generalized terms, you're bunching everybody into a big bag, and we are making sure that we are separating ourselves from each other by being different. Even though we're all black people, we're all different. So when you generalize a gender or generalize a race, you're not taking that individual person's actions into account. What does protection mean? And so what I see is a lot of people say, because you criticize this black woman, you don't love and protect black women, which is BS. Like, there's no one above criticism. You can criticize me. Someone can criticize you. Just because we look like each other don't mean we got to agree on everything. And that don't mean that I don't love and protect you. And so I see that a lot. If we don't jump on the bandwagon for everything that a black woman's saying and doing, we hate black women. And it's stupid to me, because it just makes no logical sense. Like, we don't have to agree with everything that you're doing. Like we don't have to. We can say our opinion and still love and protect black women. Like it doesn't work like that. Just like you don't have to agree with everything we doing. That don't mean you hate us. That just means you don't agree with what we doing. And then so I just want to touch on the dangerous aspect. So I talked to Felicia about this a lot. Whenever I'm in a setting, like I said, I work around predominantly white people, white men and women. I make it my job to not compound things that black women are going through in the workplace, i.e., a black woman who is speaking to a white woman with an issue that she's having, and once the black woman leaves, the white woman feels that I'm an ally and she can badmouth this black woman to me, even though the black woman didn't do anything wrong. And because the way that she expressed herself came off as aggressive or mean, and for me, she was just telling the woman, trying to get it together. And so what I do is to make sure I'm an ally to black women in the workplace or wherever I am, to make sure I'm not compounding or adding on to the stereotype of black women and black men. I do it the same for black men as well. I want to make sure that I'm not the black man that they use as the token to say, see, this black man is agreeing with what I'm saying about this black woman, this black man. And so I make sure I do that as well. But we have to make sure that we're treating everyone as a person and not as a group. I see a lot of women that say, I know a lot of rapists, but black men don't know one. And I think that's a BS term, because that's saying that each black man knows a rapist. And that's saying it's criminalizing black men. And so it's just this whole thing. I know most of the AB men. I know everybody on this chat. Everyone on this chat takes care of their kids, have not taken any ass, have not beat on a woman. And so it's all these negative stereotypes that are painted into the brains of black men and women about each other. And I can say that at times, black men aren't as vocal of their support as black women as they think they should be. But I would also say, who cares about social media? What's happening to you in real life? Because most women think if you're not plastering 50,000 things about black women on your page that you hate black women, and it's not the case. They see that outward display as you saying that you don't care about black women. The Breonna Taylor thing, I got into an argument about somebody. They said that black men aren't posting about Breonna Taylor, but at the Breonna Taylor march, it's full of black men. So I'm like, do you want to be pandered to on social media, or do you want the in real life support they're asking for? And so what I would say is, talk to the people in your life. If the people in your life support you, then we have to start changing this narrative, as well as holding each other accountable as black men, to make sure that we're doing our part to support not only black women in our lives, but the black women that we don't even know. And really, and also, one more thing, also, if you're on some BS, don't get mad because we call you out on that BS, and that doesn't mean we hate you. That's all I got.
Real quick, just one comment, Larisha, Chanel Carroll. Yes, social media hypes it, but honestly, most of us don't feel protected because of personal experiences. And then when we talk about it, men don't believe it because they protect the black women in their lives and can't fathom that there are men that are not like them. Another thing I want to touch on real quick is what Corey talked about oppression wars, and in political science we call it oppression Olympics, that race to the bottom almost, that we are more oppressed than you. So something should be done about it, or just this characterization that, well, you not really going through nothing because you're not going through what I'm going through. But that's another topic for another day. Then Raw. Then Crow, then Raw, then Raw, then Crow. Y'all.
Then Raw, you need to go to sleep. I know you're on a different time zone, my brother.
I'm fine. It just depends on what question you're gonna ask me, because
okay.
I don't know if y'all have time, man.
All right, so I'm gonna chime in, then I'm gonna let you go, my brother. I'm gonna come from it from this point, because I think a lot of brothers touched on what I would have touched on, but I want to look at it from how are our black women viewing support, and how were they raised with support? Because a lot of people didn't feel supported growing up, so they go searching for support, and when they think they found it in this new man and he doing wrong, or they found it in a new associate in college and he leaves them hanging. That all builds up to that what they view support as. A lot of even men, what we view support as for women, we see two different things as support. Women see support as this, we see support as that. And we got to figure out where we need to meet up at, because our women are really crying and saying that we're not supporting them. And we're saying, and I hear my brother saying it's a narrative, and I've said that too, to be honest. But honestly, you have to think about it. They face a lot, whether it's being them on the job, feeling some way about somebody coming at them, whether it's some of their own homegirls if they click talking bad behind them, behind their back. And we get it too, man, but we built a little different and we can handle this. We're not working off our emotions. We work a little bit different. So yes, their protective mode is different. So yes, I can kind of see where they feel it, but we're not gonna step in and put ourselves in danger, because I work in a field where I kind of put myself in danger, and we have to figure out if it's domestic or if it's a mental health situation. And if it's domestic, we're not putting ourselves in it, because I think somebody brought it up in the beginning. Their situation can change on that outsider real fast. Your best bet is just to call 911 in that situation. If it's financially and you're not feeling supported from that man or those men you have in your life, maybe you need to change your circle up. Don't forget what I told you all last week. Most black males ain't bringing in number 23 to 25K. So y'all got to think about that. He not supporting me financially. You got to think about that. Half of us grew up without fathers. So what does support really look like when we looking for it, chasing for it from these black men? Then you got to look at it on the spiritual side. Y'all want somebody all God-fearing, but are you really God-fearing like you say you are? You halfway living by the Bible, but you want this man to be walking in the light. Come on. We got to have a true common ground on what we're looking for when it comes to support as a whole. There comes to that communication point. And you got to stop looking for support from every black man, because every black man wasn't taught how to support a black woman. Mm-hmm. Let's be real. Stop looking for that. Know your circle. Know that you can receive support from your brothers, your uncle, and maybe 4 other dudes that you met along the way. The rest of these niggas ain't gonna support you and get that in your head. They ain't gonna hold the door. They ain't gonna do the small things. And if you don't see them supporting you when you're dating them in the beginning, let they raggedy ass go. It's as simple as that. Stop surrounding yourself with unsupportive ass people, unsupportive ass black men. If they're not cheering you on in whatever business you're trying to start, if they're not cheering you on in raising your kids, if they're not cheering you on in whatever it is positive, leave their asses alone. It's as simple as that. Stop creating that narrative. That means you hanging around sorry, trifling ass niggas. That's all that is. Remove them out your life and your support system will get better. It's as simple as that. I move trifling women out of my life. You don't hear me saying it's a whole bunch of ratchet, trifling ass women, because no, I remove them motherfuckers. I got nothing but classy ass women around me who gonna show me how a lady's supposed to be. I don't have to create a narrative that black women are bad, that they trashy, that they good. No, because I don't hang around them. I get full support from the black women I hang around. So I know that my black women support me, my queens support me, and that they know that they kings support them. It's as simple as that. So cut all that bullshit out, leave trash ass niggas alone, and you'll learn that you really got some support when you put some real support around your ass. You don't lay on no ragged ass mattress, do you? And if you do, you go buy a new mattress. It's as simple as that. Your foundation cracking in your house, you get somebody there to fix that shit. That's support.
The K-Law mattress. Hey, anything else need to be said? God, dog, been raw.
Yeah. I'm gonna come in and challenge Crowley a bit because I have
Okay.
a different opinion on that. And for me, I think to understand the problem, you need to go back to slavery days. Um, Black population everywhere have issues. Don't get me wrong, anywhere in the world. But when you look at the primary issues of the black populations in the Caribbean and the US predominantly, I feel personally, and this is just my own personal view, that it can be linked to slavery, the psychological impacts of slavery, in the sense that when the slave masters were pulling out the women and raping them, they were looking for the support, but it never came from the black man. And the black man was pretty much saying, look, if I support you, I'm going to get lynched. So you have to look at the psychological impact because that can be handed down from generation to generation. It's in our DNA.
True.
So I'm not saying that black populations overseas don't have issues, but you need to understand the issues at play within the Americas. That would be, I would say, the Caribbean, and I think personally it can be linked to slavery. So once you understand that, then people need to sit down, talk, because there is a lot of trauma, and it science shows that it can be handed down through your DNA. So how do you solve that problem? And a lot of talking needs to be done, I feel, and understanding what people are going through. So we can't be sitting down blaming the female population. The female population can be blaming us because we're all dealing with our trauma that's been handed down through. And think about it, slavery is not that long ago if you really think about it. That's just my two
Yeah,
cents.
it's a book about that too. I'm gonna have to go back and find it and bring it to my Facebook timeline. Go ahead.
Swift, I just want to tell all the women in the comments that we actually hear your cries and we hear your pain, and we are not dismissing what you are saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to feel like we just trying to play it to the left. If that's how you feel, that's how you honestly feel. And so we have to receive it. You know what I'm saying? But our job is to do better and to raise better men. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I got a question real quick. Real quick. Have I been calling women the B and the H word and not been checked about it? If so, please do.
Yeah, we check you every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you get checked, Tony.
How many times I've been checked?
We check everybody that say something out of line. It's not just you.
No. I'm saying in general, right? Have I recently said called a woman the B word on here?
I don't.
No.
Not since
That
we
ain't
checked
cool,
you
Tom.
not since we checked you the first. Yeah, I was saying.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That ain't cool.
Hold on.
Continue.
Hold on, because Chauncey is I don't know if she's drunk, wine drunk, or confused. Because she said she's always feels supported by AB, but some of us still cheat. There is nobody in Alpha Beta that cheats. So let's get that established right now at all.
I think she said y'all still. Damn. She did say that.
Yes, like no, that never happens. Like,
Right?
No.
That don't.
Hold on, wait. Let me get them the definition.
We
Trying to get ahead. I don't think no alpha beta man needs to get ahead because he's already at a point in his life where he's already on top. So cheating is the aspect of getting ahead. We not trying to get ahead of y'all. We trying to build with y'all. Why would we do that? So we don't cheat.
But I do want to bring up Ben Raw point because, like I said, it's a book about it, about the psychological impact of slavery and how it impacts us today and how that carries over. We really don't talk about it. We don't have these conversations enough to know how we have been impacted by the things in our past and how we can move past them and how they impact us today. That's part of the problem today. We don't understand where our issues come from.
Some stuff just hard to move past. Like Denver made a great point. It's like I can even take it a step further. Like when the slave master will pull like a black man's wife out there and rape her, then the black man don't look at his wife the same anymore. So it's like that's tough. That stuff that stuff weigh heavy on your heart. Yeah. And like Denver said, like that trauma and that stress and that anxiety was passed down to us. So it's deep. It's a lot of stuff we don't talk about, but it's like I feel like some of it is really hard to move past. So it's going to take a generation to move past some stuff. I don't think it'll be our generation. I think we'll spark it, but we're not going to be the generation that moves past, certain stuff that happened.
Yeah, and like Jay Ward said earlier, this kind of one of the points of this show is to have those conversations so we can start talking about these issues, so we can at least try to start moving past these issues. But do I have any final comments on this particular topic?
Man, let's love ourselves, to be honest. Like, let's stop allowing others to come in when we know we have a true support system within our family, within our friends, and then we allow outsiders to come in and say that black people don't support black people when you know you have family, friends, associates, or fraternity members, sorority members, whoever it is that's black. You know you got a support system. So let's stop adding to it. Let's not spread these messages. Let's not spread these memes, these videos on. There's a narrative that we don't support each other. Hell, look at us right now. We're on live, and I don't know how many people are watching, but I know we at least sometimes touch 1,000 plus. But that's support. That's black people supporting black people. This is a narrative we are tearing down literally in real time right now. So let's cut it out and let's do the right thing.
Absolutely. Zay said these next group of kids after us are messed up. She not lying because that video out of Grambling was just.
I don't even know what video y'all talking about. I don't even want to know.
I put it in the group chat. I put it in the group chat. But we gonna wrap it up. Final comments for tonight, fellas. We gonna start with T.
Man, I just one Swift. I'm tired of doing 2 hour segments with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need you to regulate. I'm gonna need you to moderate this thing like Angela Yee. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need you to keep it together. But anyway, I just think that parents should not be friends with their child, bro. We need to really bring back parenting and holding our kids accountable and being responsible for their development. And I think that being friends at an early age is kind of detrimental to kids. Now, you should always have an open hand to your kid, but be a parent first. As far as the black tats go, hey, it is what it is. We struggling out here, but we gonna make it. Like I said earlier, the struggle is real, but without struggle, there's no progress. Word to Frederick Douglass, tatted on my back. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be all right. And definitely, we gotta show these women that we support them. And the best way that we can do that is holding our brothers accountable and teaching our sons how to love a black woman.
Crowley.
Friends with your kids, is levels to it. I think first off, you definitely got to have those structures, that boundary in the beginning. Ain't no friendship. Honestly, your kids probably only opinion they should have is, do you want this supersized or not, boy or girl? Do you like this? Do you want it in red or do you want it in blue? Those are the type of opinions they should have in my eyes. As they get older, then you develop certain things, certain respect, and you go from there. And if they can't get over it as they get older, hey, yeah, I work through it. Me and my dad still work through some stuff. Love them to death though. Black tax. We the generation that should learn from the past of all the hindrance. Let's not put none of our kids' name. Honestly, probably when they get in high school, let's probably start building credit in their name on some real stuff. That way, by the time they get to college or get out of college, they have that 700 some score. Let's help them to that level, that 800 some score. That let's turn a positive to that black tax thing. The Honolulu, like I say, long live Honolulu. Man, great years. Shout out to all the bros that kept the tradition going. Shout out to the new bros. They're gonna start a new tradition. And then when it comes to supporting our black queens, man, I love y'all. I want us to get an understanding, find a level of just find a level of being there for each other. Create the support within yourself, within your own circle. And if they not supporting you, like I said, get rid of their ass. Simple as that. And that goes for me. If I'm in your circle and you feel I'm not supporting you, get rid of my ass. Because I love all my queens. And hey, if I ain't doing right by you, show my ass and prove me right. Get rid of me. Love y'all.
Rob?
All right. Should a parent be friends with a child? No, not at all. Raise your children. Study how to raise your children. Study how to raise your children. Improve your parenting. Raise your children. Black tax, I think we beat that one up. We built for it. I feel we are. I mean, we all walk around. We smiling, we surviving, we thriving. I think we got a little bit more in us that allows us to be able to handle the weight of the world that was put on us. And we're gonna be all right. I think it makes us stronger, and I think it adds to our success and prepares us for success. Honolulu, I think we hit that one, put the nail in the coffin on that one. Some of the best times ever, 04, 04, 04. Are black men supportive of black women? I think on my time in social media, I've listened a lot. I've done a lot of studying. I think the first thing we can do is to support the one black woman that we have in our lives, which is our lady or our mom or both, our old lady. Starts at home, just like they say with the kids. It starts at home. That's where you show your support first. Shouts out to my baby. She got some good news today. She put me on Facebook dancing with some flowers and a card in my hand because she got some good news, some stuff she's been working on for a long time. So shouts out to her. But I also think when you're listening, both of us, black men and black women, need to stop Oppression Olympics because we both in this thing together. We can't do it without one another. And at the end of the day, we are really all we got. We see that every day. People use that person of color thing. No, we black and we all we got. It's just us. It's just us. So that's all I got.
Real quick, E.
E murder.
E's final thoughts. I said what I said. Straight up. I'm legit serious.
Hey, real talk. I feel you.
Then Rob.
I'm reading the comments over. I'm thinking, hey, y'all going to sleep. Ish. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Can y'all hear?
Love. Yeah.
Oh, somebody to cut the landline over there in Africa. It's over.
We lost me.
It's over with. The village cut the internet off.
In the village.
Right? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
No, never mind. You got the going on.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, just let it go. Go ahead and close it out. Zero. I'm gonna close it out for you. Hey, Sean, let me tell you.
Let it go.
Listening to you.
All right. I don't know what's going on with Denraw internet.
That's that Africa, man.
Hey, the generator ran out of gas, baby. Got to go fill that thing back up.
My final comments. Should a parent be friends with a child? We beat it up. Black Tax beat it up.
Yeah.
Honolulu, I'm just pissed off that Corey didn't spend that $1,200 for the stage for the Moonlight Step show. I'm still pissed off about that. I'm pissed off about that until I'm gonna bring it up during his marriage too. Fuck that. Should have bought that damn stage. And I did not get booed. Fuck y'all for that too. Sorry, grandma. And our black men supportive of black women. I'm just gonna echo with what Crow said and just leave it at that because it is sleep time. And it's y'all fault that we go this long because y'all ass be talking for 30 fucking minutes.
That's Jay Jay
So
Ward.
don't try to blame it on me.
That
Jay
definitely,
Ward be having 6 damn topics,
yeah.
but we're gonna cut this short moving forward. Because, like I said, I be sleep by 9 o'clock on a regular night. So yeah. Then,
Yeah.
Raw, your final comments. Don't say, "Can you hear me?"
Can you hear me now?
He's
Oh boy.
Talk.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
No, I'm saying I'm reading some of the comments. They talking about they finna go to sleep. Like, nah, y'all ain't finna do that. It's 4 o'clock here and I'm still up. Y'all gonna stay up. All right. Well, I think I came in on what the black tax. I think most of
Yeah.
y'all hit that on the head. And all I gotta say is, at the end of the day, whatever different perspectives we have, no matter what our different issues are, we just need to sit down and have conversations, understand different sides of the spectrum, be open-minded about different opinions, and pretty much that solves everything. Because once you're able to do that, you can sort of come to an understanding, that your experience might be different from someone else's, but then at the end of the day, our job is just to find common ground, and that pretty much solves most of the problem. But it's just that we're not talking to each other. And once we do that, things are pretty much okay.
absolutely.
then Raw. Did you have to add some gas to the generator? Then my line, brother. I can
Shut
do
up, Crowley.
Bro.
Shut up,
But to
Crowley.
close it out, I want to say thank you to everyone for staying up with us and contributing and leaving comments. But this conversation should definitely not stop with this show. We continue this conversation so we can find our common ground and find out how we can move forward and stop saying y'all don't support us and start saying, well, this is what we need y'all to do, and just moving forward and finding the common ground. Absolutely. So with that, I'm going to say thank y'all. Y'all have a great night. I'm about to take my butt to sleep, and I will see y'all next week.
Y'all be safe out there. Fight the power. Mask
Y'all be
up.
safe, man.
I'm on that oil. Might make a baby.
Oh,
Now.
before I go, I think I'm gonna go live on Facebook next week and start showing like Honolulu highlights from YouTube. I might do that next week.
Hey, go mob. Go mob.